Hello, Twitch. How's it going? Oh, you even got my little shoulder wiggle there for a second. You were
There you
in a
go.
lot earlier than you said I was. Oh boy. Anyways, uh, hello, Twitch. Hello, Internet. My name is Tate Washburn. I am the DM for the Violet Sea, a custom system actual play stream of the Tri system that I made up, and we'll see how that goes. Uh, and yeah, the only game on this channel that I generally have to have Fantasy Name Generator open for because I cannot come up with the number of real world names that this system requires or this game requires. Holy crap. What I'd like to do is to have my players, starting with the pirates, top to bottom, introduce themselves. We'll talk about what we're in later and who they're playing. And so we're going to start with Foxy.
Hey, folks, you know who it is. It's Young Foxy, aka Big Foxy, also known as your current and only favorite fox, Philly's finest. Today, I will be reprising the role of the loquacious, the rapacious, and the audacious Captain Dre, who's apparently got a bone to pick with some people. But when does he not, right? Keep it moving. Take it away, Michelle.
Hello, it's me, Michelle. I'm playing Quinn Archer, our bodyguard turned chef turned medic with a small child. Passing it along.
Hey everybody, it's me, Sarah. Today I'm playing the ether biologist grad student type, now kind of letting a motivancer, so we're gonna see what happens with that. What's going on with that, pal? We'll see. Moving on over to Lucian.
Hi, I'm Lucian. I play Dr. Oliver Evans, our marble slinging material scientist, and yeah, things are going, and things are happening. And
They
I'll
are
pass it on to
going,
Purple.
for sure.
Hi, I'm Purple Phil, and I'm playing Maxwell Tuttle, our boat historian. Yep, just that, nothing else. Yep, and
Definitely
yeah,
that's the thing I am.
and I'm looking forward to seeing where today goes. I'm very excited for it. So with that, I'll pass it back to Tate, or the Lorist.
Yes, I am the Lorist. It's the term for the person running the game in the system because I have to be pretentious and unique. Anyways, last time on the Violet Sea, and maybe I will mood change this a bit.
Mood change.
So last time on the Violet Sea, you guys dealt with basically just one thing. Someone got on your ship and was trying to sabotage it. Two things came out of that. One, Captain Dre, who was still at the bar for most of that, found out he was being followed by someone. A couple of people who are just regular crewmates of a ship that he recognizes, unfortunately, as owned and run by people who used to own him, and that's not a comfortable situation for anybody. And then also, the people who sabotaged your boat, it found out that our boat historian, who's definitely nothing else, found out they were hired to sabotage the ship by someone on a completely different ship. I would like to point out, both ships are part of the International Island Trading Company. Is sort of the only connection these two things have that you have found. So, what I'd like to do is, ooh, wow, this song goes harder than I thought sometimes.
I like it though.
Ooh, yeah, right. Shout out to Foxy who gets all of like the music and stuff for our streams, and Sirenscape that we pay an account for that works really good, so all my players can hear this dramatic ass drum section. Whew. But we are going to start with a scene of interrogation. Only one of the saboteurs, technically two, but only one of them was captured and survived after some decisions made. This individual is in a dark room. It's actually one of the holding sections. There's sort of boxes and supplies put around so that they don't see the rest of the hold. And is currently, I assume, tied up to a chair, and I'd like to know whoever would be part of the interrogation, how that's going.
I mean, that sounds like a fun thing to do, so why not, right? Yeah, the captain's on deck for a little interrogation while he's around.
And this is the next day, so also, yeah, Maxwell could be there. if he wanted to, simply because this is after you've found out what you found out.
I would kind of openly demand Arden would be there. I wouldn't be a dick about it.
Oh,
okay.
No,
actually,
because it's
wouldn't
just
be
like,
about it.
Arden's thing would either be like, if someone directly asked them to, or if one of the other academics were also going there, just so like they were also there.
Yeah,
Support.
like, yeah.
But either one.
So yeah, Dre would kind of not like heavily demand, but kind of like, yeah, I'd prefer it if you were there, honestly, because you know you got good eyes.
Thanks, I grew them myself.
Congrats, you did good with that. The eye growing. Some people are not as good at that, you know. You should write a book.
And also the quartermaster and technical owner of the ship, the Bhavani Asmali, is also there. She's sort of off to the side, just observing, but seems a little invested after she found out that someone tried to blow up her ship.
All right, guys, keep tabs on them. Let me know if he cracks or anything. Dre will step forward. He draws a cigar from one of his pockets, and the other draws a book of matches. We'll look at our prisoner, who I'm assuming is bound and doesn't have their hands free.
Yeah. I believe this is the same guy who could like super strength his body and jump around, is the one who survived all of that. So I believe you probably have not just him tied to the chair, but also like the chair like sort of bolted to the floor a little bit. At one point he definitely barely rocked his body and flung himself at the wall trying to break the chair, and you've prevented that now at this point.
Good.
So he's pretty well tied down.
So yeah, I'll walk up to him. I'll as he comes up, I'll show the book of matches and just look and offer a, you mind? Even though I'm not actually asking. I'll then draw a single match, strike it so it's lit, and I'll place it, like not the flaming end, the non-flaming end, in his mouth and use it to light my cigar.
Yep.
And just
definitely he rolls his eyes, but he acquiesces simply because he doesn't really have another choice.
So, late night on my ship. What brings you here?
Like, look, man, it's just a job.
From?
He looks kind of uncomfortable. It's like, I don't know, man. I'm not the brains of the operation here. If I was, I wouldn't have got caught.
Yeah, your brains probably doesn't have a lot of brains anymore, and I think about it. But you still have yours, so I recommend you use them until I decide otherwise.
Like, you say brains doesn't have brains. He's like, no, see, the smart one is the lookout. He's long gone by now.
Now, see, that's useful information. Thank you. What else have you got for me?
He goes, I mean, I might have some more, but I need some assurances you're not just gonna dump me overboard with the lead weight.
You're breathing right now, right?
He looks a little uncomfortable about it. Yeah.
You could not be.
Well, I'm gonna have you roll me some kind of intimidation
I'd
or
be
somewhat.
insulted if I didn't have to.
Yeah, I was waiting for that.
Let me find a third D6 somewhere in this small in my desk.
Some kind of social thing. You can decide what flavor that is.
Triple D6. Tate, is that even a question? You already know. It's gonna be I'm gonna go with Command Intimidate, obviously, because I'm gonna be intimidating. So this is dice plus 5.
Of course.
That's 10 plus 5 is 15.
Yeah, that's gonna do it.
Can I bump that with a point if I got it?
Yeah, actually, you might want to, because I just rolled for him and he got a pretty big number.
Well, then I'm gonna bump that with I guess I can use social points. I'll spend a point on it. I'll spend a point on it.
Mm-hmm.
Puts that to a grand
Oh,
total of
that puts it
16.
at 16. All right. You're still breathing. He looks uncomfortable, and he's. Yeah. This is not any offense to you, Captain, but you're frighteningly effective at what you do. I mean, I was conscious for the whole killing people on the floor thing.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me if I'm a little wary of giving you something just at your word that I won't die afterwards.
Dre tilts his head a bit and he says, "Do you know why all these people around me are still alive? because they're useful. People who are useful to me tend to breathe around me for a while. So if you want to keep breathing, you should be useful.
Right, look, I didn't make any deals. I wasn't going to be the one at the rendezvous. We had a boat parked at the other side of the bar one here. We might have some of our paperwork there if the guy running didn't take it. There'd be notes on who is paying us and where we go. You could check that out. But immediate stuff? I don't know how useful this is to you, but I gotta say, it was pretty smart of you guys to change the name of the ship.
So they're looking for the old ship, huh?
Yeah, we were told the Royal Sunrise. And, I mean, maybe this was just some supposition on our brains guy, but he said something to the effect of, we gotta stop the academic types from getting to the island.
Well, that answers my question. Looks back at the crew. I gained some info while I was away. Apparently we have more than one enemy here. One's a bit personal. So, I was wondering if our little intruders here had to do with that, or our other gaggle of followers we had for a while here. Turns out it was the latter.
So, a really quick question for you, Foxy. Is Dre, like, openly upset or uncomfortable about these other enemies?
Incredibly.
Or are you kind of like, keep it, okay. Just because this guy rolled super low on any kind of insight, but if you're being open about that, he's like, are you sure that they're different enemies?
Keep talking.
Look, this is just from my experience. I don't have any evidence on that, but usually the kind of secrecy that we had for this contract, there's some big players, and they're going to come at you at every sideways way they can through other operatives. If I had to put money on it, I'd say there's a country coming after you, if not something bigger. I just want to keep it quiet.
And yet, if they were looking for me, they would probably know the ship's name changed.
Would they?
You made your point, and you've been very useful. Thank you. I don't need anything else from this one. Any of y'all got any questions?
Oh boy.
I mean, yeah, Arden isn't going to say anything. I think Bhavani is like, well, one moment. And she just sort of saunters confidently towards this guy from across the room. And Arden would especially notice this, but I think, Dre, you've been around Bhavani enough that you would recognize some of the effects of this. And she is turning her sort of glamour magic up to 11. Just looking at her, you're like, oh yeah, this is someone that I should trust and believe for every reason, is like the first instinct that you have. But, you know, Arden, you can easily resist that because you're also aware that she is using just so much magic for this.
Mm-hmm.
In, like, terms of points, she's burned through all the points as she walks towards this man. And she just leans over to him at eye level and is, now are you sure there's nothing else at all you'd want to tell us?
Oh, she's good at that.
And you can see him, like, you just, like, super quiet and direct to face, and he, like, squirms a bit, like, uncomfortably in his chair as this person's right in his face, and you don't know if that is through fear or something else. He's like, you know, I mean...
Maybe both.
I am both afraid and aroused. Anyways, he sort of squirms in his chair. It's like, well, I do know that the guy that was going to meet, my teammate was going to meet them, did go to the lower flotilla to get the job. Like, that's where he got the contract from. So it's not the stuff in the sky, it's the stuff on the ocean.
Well, guess I wouldn't have gotten that if I hadn't asked. Thank you, love. Anything else? Are we done?
Bonnie nods and smiles. I have nothing else.
Cool. Looks back at the crew. Rough him up a bit. Don't kill him, though.
I guess, is there a member of the crew here, or is it just the three of you? We can assume that like your first mate's there.
Yeah. I mean, he'll just give the order, and if the first mate has to go get some crew members to go fuck this guy up, then sure, whatever. Don't care.
No. Yeah, so Mr. Cantoni, I'm gonna say, is just there just for orders, and he says, "Right away, Captain," and he just like walks with this guy and just backhands him in the face. Because remember, these are the people who knocked Cantoni unconscious, and he's not happy about that shit. And just in the coldest way possible, it's like, nothing personal, just a job. Bats him again.
Dre stops the doorway, turns back, and says, "Oh, it's personal. Y'all fucked up my ship."
He nods, as you say, Captain. Nothing personal. Cantoni definitely said it sarcastically. I want to be clear, just super coldly.
Oh, I know. I needed our direct victim to be aware. I'm very upset about the holes in my ship. I care more about the damage to my ship than I do about your life.
But anyways, that's sort of the end of that scene, and I have an important question for, let's see, what do we want to do? We'll move it to this real quick. I haven't really... That's a little louder than I thought it was going to be. There, that's a little chiller. I have an important question for our ship historian, for Maxwell. You received some information.
I did.
And as it's approaching the next day, I want to know what you're going to do about that.
I think I have a scene that just plays right into the end of that scene. As Dre is walking out of whatever room he is onto like the ship's deck or something.
Yeah, it's now the morning. The crew is busy fixing stuff. Our one absent player, so Reese is, you see him like mumbling and like puttering around in this sort of hole, and he's just taking chunks of ship and putting them where they go, like he's fitting a puzzle, and then he taps it and it fixes the break in it. And he's just like doing that to very quickly repair the sort of big hole in the center. And Ozturk is helping, if only because, you know, Captain said to help fix that. And you can definitely hear Reese muttering about his broken organ, which just has one big hole in it. Like, not the whole thing is obliterated, but he is gonna have to like retool a whole lot of it. God damn it! Just almost got the thing together. On and on.
At least someone's being useful.
Yeah, I think Maxwell's just gonna kind of walk up to Dre from like having gotten back on the ship. It looks like. Dre, it seems one of the ships on the other side of the dock caught fire last night. I was kind of watching around. I saw this note. I was wondering if it made any sense to you.
Can you hand him
out to him?
a note?
Yeah.
Dre takes the note, looks at it, hands it right back to you. I don't do much reading, Doc.
Oh. Well, here, I can read it for you. It seems like it was related to whatever they did last night. It said that they were going to sabotage our ship on here, and then that they're to meet down at this bar down on the lower quadrant at this time. It's a little bit in the afternoon.
Dre hops up from his resting position, puts both hands on your shoulders. Maxwell, I could kiss you.
Well, it's just a piece of paper I found. I'm not even sure what it like really means. But
it's gonna stop you right there and cock an eyebrow. Do you want me to kiss you?
I'm all right, thank you though.
Off it on the table. Continue.
I do have a thing that Dre. I mean, Fox, you can decide whether or not Dre would pick up on this, but I'm kind of tempted to have Maxwell do some lying there because you definitely know what it's about.
Oh no, fam.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I'll do it.
We're gonna make this flat because he has no reason to suspect you, so it's not contested. You just flat get success here.
I get a plus 6 for deceive, so.
The craziest thing happened. I found this paper with these very specific instructions.
16. You sell it real good. Like you're like, hey, there was a ship on fire and I just found this note. I assume you're implying like you found the note with the burning ship. You're like, oh, it was.
Well, it's like on the dock. It's like on the dock. It's like ripped up. It's like it's burned at the edges a little bit, so it's like looked like
so it's burning ship, and it seemed important.
Listen,
Yeah.
Dre,
So like
Ship name
all
on
of
it.
can witness,
Gotta
but-
be
the way
important.
you said that, Dre immediately assumes you had something to do with it, but doesn't either you can't tell him or it's best if he doesn't know. And he's just like, sure, whatever. I don't give a fuck, dude. Like,
Yeah, you know what? In that case, then yeah, you just delivered it enough that he's like, I believe that you're on our side, so it's fine.
sure, man, sounds great.
I hope that's helpful.
More than you know. He's gonna like twirl the paper around in his hands, even though he can't read it. And just set a bar, right? Where at?
We gotta go down. It's on the ocean floor.
Fun. Guess it's a field trip day, yeah?
Is it?
Yeah, why not? Let's go pay him a visit.
Thought it was a Tuesday.
Is it Tuesday? You know, it's
It
always
is
been
now.
weird to me.
Calendar?
It's like it's always been weird to me that like we just kind of like assume that someone's been keeping track of what day it is. Like, how do we all just know it's Tuesday? You know?
We all agree that it's Tuesday.
See,
usually.
but like, what if someone slipped up at some point and it's actually like Thursday and no one actually knows that? That's all I'm
a
saying.
lot of people would have had to screw up.
Exactly.
But it's possible.
Listen,
I guess it could be a field trip day. I'm not sure.
I'm deciding it's a field trip day. Looks back. Reese, keep bothering some of the crew here and mess around with whatever you can. I'm gonna gather the nerds and whoever else I feel like. Take Quinn and maybe Via with me too. See if we can find something to do. And yeah, I think he'll just start storming off and go finding, like, head towards the upper deck, find the first mate, and likely have him go rally up the rest of the people he's looking for. Because I don't gather up my own people. I'm the captain. Fuck that. I got people for that.
Yeah, he'll go and collect the people you mentioned. What y'all doing when he finds you, and how you're gonna start doing this? This is really more your space.
Well, Quinn and Vio are currently cooking up a storm. I think Quinn himself is going through and just making like a bunch of small snacks for the crew to just, eat while they're working so they can keep up their energy. While Vio's keeping an eye on a giant crock pot of some kind of stew that's just being like, every once in a while Vio will like try to sneak something while occasionally stirring and like
As any good chef
be,
would.
yeah. But yeah, that's where they find. That's where the first mate finds Quinn.
Yeah, Vio, you have to keep on like telling them to like, if you're going to stick your finger in it, you have to wash your hands before and after, because Vio's constantly trying to like stick a pink. He's just trying to stick a pinky in and
Yeah.
taste it.
It's like,
Uh,
at least we know it tastes good. Like that's like literally the face that he's giving me.
yes, it's good. I'm so hungry. No, yeah. What about the rest of you? I kind of missed the list of people.
Oh, I'm gathering up the nerds, as in the party members, effectively.
Just everyone, and then you're
Yeah,
giving a
sure.
reason for Reese not to be
Yes.
included because he's working on the ship, essentially.
See?
Yeah.
It's like I'm co-GMing or something, fam. It's like, I'm out here with it.
Audio skipped for me at that moment. Anyways,
Fine. Don't matter. Don't worry about it.
but yeah. The other two of you, I assume you're just sort of like, whatever you do in the morning.
Yeah, you walk into the room and he's just, Oliver Evans is there in his chair just.
Yeah, in the chair. Didn't make it to his bunk. He's in the chair that's
Oh,
sort of in the bunk area.
So, did you need me for something?
Yeah. Captain has something you're doing. He needs your help on something.
I'll be right there.
And then yeah,
Yep,
the
just
last
walk
one would be
in with some
Arden.
coffee.
With some coffee.
Yeah, Arden's already out.
Mhm.
Coffee is an important part of this ship. I probably
It's very
yes, like
important, okay? Or tea, whatever strikes anybody's fancy, but yeah.
Yeah, as you all gather up, Dre's kind
Or
of like,
caffeinated beverages.
of course, caffeinated drink. Caffeine water, please. Thank you. Yeah, Dre's
whatever
hanging out
form.
by
I
the
don't care. I
mast,
just need it.
as he usually is, waiting for you all. You'll find he's usually hanging out there not too long. Just morning, morons. How we feeling?
All tired.
Same.
Morning, Brett.
Quinn, Ivio.
I'm doing all right. As I have Maxwell get some tea in the waiting for everyone to gather.
Maxwell, you beautiful bastard. Great to see you.
Quinn
sir.
kind of like just like passes everyone a sandwich that they've made. It's like a snack size like sandwich with like the works. You've got like some kind of meat slathered with
Cured
like
meat,
sauce
probably.
and some sort of like caramelized like peppers or something. Just like
Dre's is already consumed.
it's like
You're like, vegetables, fresh ones instead of ship food.
It's
Oh
gone.
boy.
It's
Quinn
gone.
kind of just like I guess like for those of you not in the know, Quinn has the ability to make snacks, and you can choose to restore a certain number of either MP or AP points when you consume them.
Well,
So he has handed you snack.
it's too bad.
Hands
I
Dre
already
another
ate
snack
mine.
and says, save it.
Too
Can hand
bad.
Dre
Instead of
another snack and be like,
savoring.
Save it. Save it for when you need it.
Yeah.
He'll tuck it.
You know.
So you can restore up to 3
Mark.
MP or AP points.
Sweet.
Anyways,
So, turns out our lovely little ship historian around here has been gathering up some fun intel for us. And what would you know? He happened on a fun little bit of info that relates to the little squabble we had last night. Maxwell might have found where they're meeting at, or where they were supposed to meet at if we hadn't sent most of them to an early grave.
Right.
Well, we're still missing what, 1 or 2?
Exactly. So you're thinking what I'm thinking, yeah? We'll clean them
Well,
up.
I mean, he said whoever was watching was the brains, and I'm pretty sure that's the one that got away. So yeah.
So let's see if you can't go bash
No
brains'
way.
brains in, yeah? And before that, maybe find out who they were working for or whatever else we can figure out. I just want to get to the brain
Sounds-
bashing.
That would
This is
help.
the fun thing.
Sounds useful.
Quinn takes a quick look over at Suits and Beanie and Marbles and just, should we try to change their dress? They kind of look well, they don't look like the kind of folks that'll be down.
Yeah, you know, bit too much flash on them. Gotta muck them up a bit.
you gotta grime up good.
Arden looks at their dress. Like, wait.
Actually, cuts,
Like-
cuts over Arden, just like, they might be okay. You two, though.
This is my favorite jacket.
Sucks.
I'll be back with a different one.
Quinn just like takes like a little bit of like kind of like hair grease and just like ruffles Marble's head, just gets it all over
Messier.
You mean his bald head?
his bald.
You fucking
Yeah.
moron. Why would you do that?
Forgot he's bald.
Okay, well, it stays now. There's just a bunch of grease on his head. Like,
Oh, fuck.
it's canon. It happened.
Just canon, there's just
That's a flip.
Shining,
That's a
shining.
Like it's shiny. Polished
Yeah,
like a
but like it
bowling
also
ball.
looks like a little bit like dirt and like smudged up. So like
Already clipped, dog.
Oh,
Already clipped.
This is not what I was expecting.
Nah, Jay will,
it's
Oh,
with the combined greasy head that Oliver now has, Dre will walk up to the coat. He'll brush the coat aside to the shirt underneath and just like take like his like small little dagger, slash the collar a little bit. Just, that'll do.
okay, that I'm okay with.
Like it just needs to look less nice. That's all we're saying.
And it just looks over at Maxwell, just
I can go change.
make it fast, please.
Yeah. You can very quickly get your like radius
Mess
clothes.
up a suit.
Oh, as
it's
you-
still gonna look like a suit.
I mean, as you turn to leave, Tracy stops. She's like, "Oh, not right here."
No, it wasn't. The clothes are in my case.
Carry on, man.
Yeah, so you get your like oldest radius suit, and I have a very specific question. Are you going to try and dress in a way that makes it look like you don't know how to disguise yourself? Or are you gonna be too good at disguising yourself? I wanna know.
Well, essentially, I was just gonna not be in a suit and just consider that good enough. And if they have to mess me up after that, that's
Because you get like your radius shirt and just regular pants that you have.
Yeah.
And you're like, I can make it. Okay.
I'd take off the overcoat and the tie and the blazer underneath, and just have like a plain shirt that I kind of ruffle up. So yeah, I'm not gonna try and actually disguise myself good, because I wouldn't even need to do that if I wanted to. But yeah,
just wondering. But yeah, so you come out with just like a button-up shirt that you have just is a little grimy. You're like, yeah,
and I'm like,
in this a bit.
I didn't button it all the way up, essentially.
Yeah.
I went business casual, and it's like, that's good enough, right?
It's like, look, this is casual Maxwell.
Yeah.
We rarely get to see him.
It's Maxwell alt costume.
Alt cost.
What? That's not on model.
I think Danil, the one rigger that's a windrunner, like jokingly is like, looking good, Maxwell, like as she swings by rigging something up.
I love her. She's my favorite.
Like teases you a bit.
I love her so much.
Quinn gives like a quick, like hard, like, cause Beanie still looks the same, but like Quinn just like gives a hard stare at marbles and suits and just like points, Baldy, Bookie.
Baldy is mean. Wow.
I don't even have a book. And then like looks at like his backpack and he has a notebook and he's like, oh yeah, actually I do. Never mind, maybe that's fair.
It's not like it's just genetics. What do you want me to do about it? I'm sorry.
Just grow hair, forehead.
You mean the
It's
entire
harder.
head?
Grow hair on his forehead.
Just grow hair, head.
Which is a great time to talk about our sponsor, Keeps. No, I'm just...
Oh, God.
But actually, Keeps, if you want to sponsor us, I will absolutely do that.
Oh, fuck!
Oh.
We're not sponsored, though. Don't worry about it. Anyways,
One day.
Not sponsored. Hashtag not
Yeah.
sponsored.
Fuck!
not sponsored. Not
Another
sponsored.
one.
Anyways, so yeah, you guys are prepared to head sort of down to the ocean level. It's easy to get someone to just like ferry you down there. You don't have to like take your own ship, and it's probably better that way. Now, the place that you're supposed to meet is technically like another bar ship, but the thing about the level down there is it's less, I guess, segmented between legitimate and less legitimate ships, let's say. This is almost entirely large ships that are meant for carrying a lot of heavy stuff. It's generally the strategy is you have a few light ships to claim your like mining space, and the heavier ones actually bring in mining equipment. That's what the majority of money is made through the Wandering Continent, is just stripping it for all these materials. So when you arrive there, this bar is still like ship people, and it's still like sailors, not like commanders. This bar that you get to on this other ship, but I think as you enter, it would be Dre and Quinn would realize you two might actually be a little more obvious here than you thought, because it's not a pirate bar.
Huh. Well, it's a good thing Dre's always obvious.
That's his aesthetic.
Yep.
I have a question for the GM. Did Quinn
Yep.
or actually, and also Dre, did you ask Quinn to bring Vio?
I didn't ask specifically. I thought about it. It's really up to you.
Okay, so Quinn probably didn't bring Vio then. Vio is on the ship with hopefully somebody. No, Quinn is probably taking Vio with him. Better keep an eye on him.
Okay.
Leave the robot in charge of the child. It'll be
It's just like
yes.
it's like Tin
Then
Man
Tony
is
is the
fine.
responsible first mate who could probably take care of him.
Yeah, but the first mate's busy.
That's up to you.
Yeah, so
That's true. That's fair.
So I guess like Quinn is just like surreptitiously just picks up Vio and puts him on his hip.
I like the sound. Anyways, yeah. So you have all of them together, and this ship is. I don't have a name for it, and I can't find a good generator for it.
Spitball.
The
Spell
ship
it out.
is called the the Purple Waves.
Okay.
I think is what it's called. And
I just realized Purple Waves is a very good alt name for Violet Sea.
It is.
Purple waves.
Anyways.
No, the only thing that I thought of was just like a parody of Purple Rain. Wave.
Purple
Wave.
wave.
We're very musical today, it turns out in the prequel.
God,
Just so
what's going
you
on
know,
today?
The world wants to be a musical today, don't ask
Clearly.
me. But anyways, you arrive at the Purple Wave, and this bar is mostly like not super occupied. People are sort of preparing on other ships, but there's some people here, and there's not any live music playing. It's just like a bar with tables. There seems like there could be a stage, but it's just not like optimal time because it's more in the morning. There is like 4 people at the bar. There's like 2 or 3 tables with a few people in it where they're like out to breakfast, and yeah, you can roll me more stuff for more details, or the space is yours.
Alright, I guess we're here on business, but I want to still kind of keep casual, so I think Dre's gonna make his way just towards like the closest thing he can, towards like, no, let's stay together. He'll look for a table, I think. In fact, he'll even look for the cutest attendant he can find and ask if they can find a table for him and his 4 or 5 acquaintances.
I think Quinn actually is going to split from the group and with Vio because, taking like a sort of like of trying to find like a table where Quinn can get like a good look of the whole room as a whole.
Okay.
And just like keep an eye. Table. Yeah, like a good corner table, and just keep an eye on the whole scene.
Yeah, you almost sit down there without anyone like telling you where to sit. And this is a bar, not like a restaurant. But Dre, you catch one of the bar women there that is quite cute, very attractive, and ask them where to sit. And they're like, "Are you with?" and points to Quinn. You came in together. That's definitely a table that you could use.
Actually, I guess I feel like Dre would know Quinn's kind of trying to do their own thing for some reason, and would probably try to like, you know what? Nah, yeah, he'll say, "Oh, never seen them in my life."
They'll probably give you a little bit of a, all right. Would the bar be fine? Just sort of point to the bar.
Looks like it's to his friends. Yeah, we can make that work. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a few spaces.
Bar sounds good.
You can sit down, and there's some pretty standard breakfast. It looks like they're frying up whatever is easy to fry up in the morning. Sausages, eggs, bread, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it's not anything fancy, but...
Yeah, he'll go ahead and order himself a solid plate of whatever's around, devour that, and then consider ordering another plate. And then while eating that second plate, he'll look back at his friends, just like, "All right, so what are we doing here? Anybody see anything yet? Oh, this is good."
It's greasy and spiced. That's all you need to care about. Oh, yeah.
Everything seems pretty in order. I mean,
Eyes, you got anything?
I don't know. Do I see anything out of the ordinary?
You'll have to roll for that.
Yeah, I can do that. Can roll. See.
I would say notice if you just want to look at stuff, but if you want to roll with some sort of magic, you can always do that.
Do I want to start that now, or do I want to not? I'm just gonna start with like just what I see. So let me start with the notice here.
All right. I guess you could also do insight, which is slightly higher for you if it's like less the details and more the people and what they're doing.
Yeah, it's more. Yeah, it's like how are people moving? Like, cause like we're looking for specific people, so it's more that. So okay, that is 14.
14. I believe you're gonna want to bump that a little if you want a success, but let me look at the rolls because I still haven't memorized those.
Comedic success.
Yeah, that's a comedic success. If you want a full success, you're gonna have to spend some points to get 16.
2 points to get to 16, yeah.
Yeah, I'm willing to spend some. That's fine.
Yeah. I'd also like Maxwell for you to roll some sort of notice, investigate something about details as well, since you're the other one really looking for stuff.
It's gonna be a 12. Oh, it's set at a 12.
All right. So I'll go with Maxwell first. You're like looking for details in the room, and you are a slightly better idea of, hey, this is someone who isn't a captain, probably more of a commander, but not like, or like some sort of officer, but not really that high up that contacted them is your assumption based on how they gave you the information. And you look around and you don't see someone dressed like that so much. There are maybe 2 individuals you identify that maybe are dressed nice enough to be that and are like dressed down. But the same way that you're just wearing a suit shirt that you just have grimed up a bit, you can tell that they are wearing clothing that just looks less nice than what they probably have. Like it's their obvious ratty version of something. But Arden, you aren't really looking at the details of what people are wearing. What you do notice, though, that when you guys entered and as you're talking, there are 2 gentlemen at a table sort of in the other corner that also is a very good view of the whole room. One of them sees you guys enter and then like immediately stops looking around and is just like looking at his food and seems like trying not to move his head, but you notice they're sort of looking to the door. Without using any magic, you're like, that's someone who suddenly feels very awkward that we're here.
Oh, we'll communicate that very quietly to the others and say, I think someone's a little bit afraid.
Love you guys. Well, if I pray sighted, and go for the kill then.
Maybe not the
This
kill,
guy-
but
It's a metaphor, right? Isn't that what those are?
okay.
The other person at the table with these 2 seems like confused as his friend just stands up and the nervous one starts like trying to make it to the door very quietly.
Not without me, he's not. I'm moving.
I'm not gonna have you roll to get there, but whatever it is you're about to do is probably gonna require some kind of roll to stop him from leaving.
I'm gonna walk up and very loudly, not loudly, but loud enough like the people immediately around us could hear us just, hey, bud, I almost missed you there. Don't leave yet. Come on, we haven't had a drink yet. Come on, dude.
It's breakfast? Are we drinking?
There are people drinking beer with their breakfast for sure.
5 o'clock somewhere.
You ever been to Europe? The fuck?
Well, shit. Can I have a spiked coffee then?
Yeah, that's allowed.
Yeah.
They have
Oh,
2
yeah.
different things you can spike it with here. It's like, you want something hard or you want something light?
I think something light for now. Looks like things are about
Yeah.
to go down a little bit, maybe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's coffee with like something closer to a light Bailey's than like whiskey.
Hmm.
Anyways, yeah, so you are like pretending that you're a friend with this guy, and I would like some kind of probably subtlety.
You got it.
But it could be subtlety intimidate if you want to do that. If you like doing something threatening or something like that, you can give me the flavor
I'll
you
slow down
want.
with the intimidate and do subtlety demand if you don't mind.
Yeah, that works. I think that fits.
So that's a +4 on the dice, which is not the best roll for me, unfortunately. That's only going to be a grand total of 7. That's going to be a grand total of 11. I'm going to spend, I guess this would be social points, right?
Yeah.
I will go ahead and spend another 3 of those to make.
Well,
that-
11 is comedic success, and it's going to stay a comedic success with 3 more.
So I need at least 4 more. 5 more.
Yeah, you would need. Yeah, you'd need more points than you can spend. So.
We'll leave it there then.
Yeah. So you do this, and it is still a comedic success, and so the choice is going to be: do you want him to play along, but he has like a counter move, or are you going to or is he going to be like obviously not your friend, but he's still staying? Like, do you care if other people at the bar realize what's going on or not?
I don't think I really care if other people at the bar realize that directly. No, actually, no. I think I actually only care if other people at the bar realize directly. If he thinks that I'm confused, but like I'm just being forthful enough that he should at least come and have one drink before being like, "Hey, I'm not your friend, by the way." Like, you know, the kind of thing where like someone in public
no.
strangers is being
When
a
I say
bit
counter
too
move?
nice, you know?
Yeah.
Where, like, I'm gonna like go along with this for a little bit before I like let them know that like I'm not the person they're looking for because they're just being a bit too nice right now.
Mhm.
Like I'm kind of going for that thing, you know?
When I say counter move, you can tell as you get to this guy, he recognizes that this is a situation. When I say counter move, he is going to try and socially maneuver around you.
Okay.
Like he's trying to escape.
All right. So what do I
But
need
if
to?
that's it. Well, no. So just as the flavor. So you're like, hey, buddy. He seemingly plays along. He's like, oh yeah, I didn't notice you there. It's like, hey, here, let's sit down at this table. And he's also so everyone around him hears. And there's an empty table nearby. But he's like very quietly to you. It's like, I will call the marshals here if anything happens. I don't want any trouble. We can have a gentle and reasonable discussion about this, and no one has to get hurt. And he very subtly like moves his wrist, and you can see he has some sort of mechanism that you don't recognize, but what you do recognize is there's a barrel of a gun. It's not in his hand, it's on his wrist, but it's some sort of mechanical thing, and you're like, that doesn't look safe or good.
Huh?
And then he puts it back.
Man, imagine me giving a fuck. So yeah,
He thinks you do.
I mean, he's sure he should. Oh, he's allowed to think that I do. Actually, no, he's not.
Well, he does
Fuck
get-
him. I'm gonna. Yeah,
I will say that he does roll intimidate, and he doesn't roll well. He doesn't get a success, so it's very in character. I think the dice know.
Good. Fuck him. Yeah. So yeah, Dre will just like take it, like go down, sit down at the table. It's like, yeah, sure, no problem, man. Don't worry about it. Let me grab the rest. Make sure they know you're here. And like we'll like gesture over at the table, just yo, we're over here, all right? Come on. And then I'll look down at him and just, that's really pretty. Imagine me caring, bud. Now relax, all right? No one's gonna get hurt unless you piss me off.
He doesn't seem confused anymore. He's still like the very fake smile.
Good.
I know I'm not going to get hurt. You're the one who's breaking the law here.
That's supposed to be a thing I care about much.
You should when we're in a ship run by the IIRC or IITC.
It's fantastic. I'm Captain DRAE.
I know who you are.
Good. More people should.
The rest of you can like reach the table at this point. And I think he actually takes the initiative. He's like, so, how are things on the Royal Sunrise? Everything still functioning?
Yeah, well, my ship's doing fantastic, honestly. Everything's been smooth sailing, no issues, no problems, not even anything. Bit of a rat problem the other night, but we squashed it.
Those were expensive rats. Thankfully, they only got half up front.
All rats die eventually, though.
Too true. Why they're expendable.
Tell me, friend, you expendable?
Grand scheme of things, probably.
Interesting. I like that answer. I'm gonna pretend that I know what it means. So, let's stop.
I'll tell you what it means.
Oh, ooh, even more.
No,
fun.
He's like, I'll tell you what it means. It means that I'm part of something bigger than myself. I follow the rules. I follow my orders. You can be mad at me and those rats all you want. Me dying here means nothing.
Friend, the people I am the most angry at in this fetid fucking world of ours are the ones who are following the rules all the time. That means nothing to me.
So, what can I give you that will get you gone as quickly as possible?
Pretty woman, couple million in coin, and a place to duck my head away for a while.
Grace of the night, really? That's what you want from me, is a way to get out?
I mean, that was just, ideal life goals, if I'm being perfectly honest. You don't really have a way out of this conversation until I decide that I want to walk away, and be perfectly honest with you. So you can help that by giving me a reason to be somewhere else. Say, somewhere higher up on the totem pole.
He's gonna roll his eyes, and actually, the rest of you sat down, I assume?
Yeah.
Quinn is still like keeping a watch.
fair.
Is just like and making sure like nobody's like trying to interfere or like just keeping
Yep.
an eye and making sure nobody's gonna try and fight it out or anything.
Yeah, thus far, it's just this guy. The other person he was eating with seems completely unaware of what's going on, but he's like not getting in his, you assume, commanding officer's business. Like he saw this confusing thing, but he basically dismissed it, and he's just finishing his food. Yeah, so he'd actually turned to the three academics. It's like, are you really letting this man speak for you? I could offer you a way to get out right now. Doesn't have to end with you dying either.
What would that entail?
Leaving, abandoning your quest. Whatever it is that you're doing with this Ozturk fellow, go home.
And if we don't?
I'm one cog in a large machine. There's other people coming at you for this. If I fail, someone else will succeed.
One cog can cog up a lot of the, or can gum up a lot of the other ones usually, though.
He seems, sigh, sort of exaggerated, exhausted face, and the other two? Just shrug. To Arden then.
I mean, I don't know. I'm totally blanking. What was the question?
Oh, will you leave, go home, stop with the quest? He's offering you a way of like, hey, you don't have to get hurt. The only reason people are coming after you guys is because of what you're doing with the Wandering Island, or the Wandering Continent.
I mean, Ozturk is the one that gave me a chance here to begin with. No one else would have given me a chance to actually study and actually develop my skill. He's the one that believed in me out of anybody else in the system. I'm definitely gonna stick with him.
Very well, and I will deal, and then to Dre, with you. You want to know who I'm working for?
Yes, I do.
I am the second first mate of the Polecat, the ship that's not far away. Our captain, Captain Yusaku... sorry, I messed that name up. Our Captain Yasuyuki was told by his superiors that we need to stop you from getting to the continent. I don't have much more than that because I don't ask for extra details. I don't have to have them. But his superiors are at the Inter-Island Trading Company.
And your ship's captain, you think you or him would happen to know maybe some of the other ships who are working with the IITC on this?
Well, lots of them. I don't know which ones are working on this, but
Can I throw
two-thirds of the...
You tell me if you heard of it before?
Sure.
The Birmingham.
Well, it's owned by the IITC. It's very likely that they're also involved in this, considering the resources and reputation they have.
Reputation, huh? What is that reputation? Call me curious.
He has almost like a disbelieving laugh. He's like, you... And he looks at you and you like really don't know. It's like, well, it's the Island Breaker. It's the ship that laid siege to small places that have things that the IITC needs. Birmingham takes no prisoners, except for the ones they do. And those prisoners don't go back.
It's kind of funny you think I wouldn't know that. But, thanks for sharing anyway. Your captain. Where do we find them?
On their ship, if you want to try and assault it.
Where would we find that?
In the flotilla. And he just sort of nods his head this way, few that way.
Easy walk across the way. This field trip just got a little more interesting.
I'm not going to let you on.
It's not a problem you need to worry about. Not
An officer
at
on the
all.
ship, I think I'd be worried if you were going to attack it.
Yeah, I would give you more information on that, but I don't think it's worth bothering. So, again, it's just not your problem. What is your problem is what comes next. Because I need to know you won't go running that pretty little mouth of yours once we leave.
He definitely puts the one arm with the device on it above the other. It's like, well, that is a problem. Because that's what I'm expected to do next, is go back to the ship.
Fun. How do you plan on doing that? Given the
He's going to look you right in the eye. Like, any means necessary. Do you think the other people at the bar are going to be on your side here?
You assume they have to be on yours?
He's not gonna like look away from you. Is bartender, can I have another drink here for my friend? And gesturing to you, and as like the serving person comes to you, he's like, sailor, what's your name and rank? And the sailor does give their name and rank, and like, tell me what generally is protocol for any kind of violence on a IITC ship? It's like, oh, well, brig, sir. Everyone's obligated to put them in the brig to help. So, yeah, that seems about right. Violence, aggression, intimidation, that sort of thing. It's like, yes, sir. At ease. The person goes back. They're obligated to be on my side.
That's fun. I've gotten out of worse than brigs, but that's cute. Very cute. Looks over the others. So, how do y'all want to do this?
First mate, was it? What was second first mate? What was her name again?
It's they haven't given their name.
I
They're
know,
just
that's what I'm asking.
the backup first mate.
Oh.
Oh, you are asking in character,
Oh.
right? Nope, hold on. Give me a second. I should come up with names before I introduce characters,
Got it.
but I do not.
Imagine GM
it's just-
timetable. Couldn't be me.
Right? It's like, well, first mate Rooter. Armand Rooter.
What motivates your captain?
Honor, duty, I'm sure. Possibly the sizable paycheck that he gets for being a captain.
That's more accurate.
What motivates you?
The same, although an agreeably less sizable paycheck.
That makes things hard.
You know what? I'm gonna be perfectly honest with y'all. This is like briefly stepping out of character here. I don't give a fuck. I'll turn up right now. Like,
I'd like to just remind that you don't have like a ship nearby, so getting off of the ship is going to be difficult.
I mean,
Exactly.
can Quinn hear this conversation or anything?
I'd say it's close enough that you get a sense of it, not like the specifics. I think you could tell there's some tension there and stuff's going down. You can roll me something to see if you can pick it up across the room.
Okay. Should I release some kind of like notice or something?
Yeah.
Okay. We'll see how this goes. That's.
If you wanted to make that insight to be like just to get a sense of where the conversation's going more,
Okay,
You
then
get more-
that's a flat 12.
12. Yeah, you don't get like words and details, but you definitely can see that both Captain Dre and this first mate guy are about to throw down. Like they are very close to doing so.
So I think what Quinn is going to do is how much does like Vio like get like kind of like cues from Quinn? Like
Pretty regularly. You don't have to say things, and Vio will like obey what you are signaling.
Yeah. So I think Quinn's gonna like I guess signal Vio to start like making a tantrum about the food.
Okay. You sort of indicate this, and Vio like their eyes brighten up a little as they're like, I get to pretend to be a bastard. And
Time for chaos!
yep. And I think that's like it's some like breakfast porridge with like some light
Sounds like you got Vio on drill shit.
like
now.
food or something on it. And Vio is like, oh boy, and then like just takes the whole thing and just slams it into the table, porridge side first.
Yeah!
Oh no.
Yeah!
It's like and it has like berries on it. It's like, I hate berries. Why'd you put berries on it? And then it just starts like ranting about hating fucking blueberries in like that child high-pitched voice that I cannot possibly do. And a server immediately comes over and is like, oh no, when will
you learn?
Yep.
You idiots!
A server comes over and is trying to be nice and like the way that you try and calm a child. And it's like, oh, it's alright, we'll get you something else. You know, immediately. But everyone's looking at this table now, with the exception of, the first mate who is staring down someone who threatened violence.
Cool. I'm gonna use that moment to, actually, I might actually be able to use an ability here if you'll give me exactly 10 seconds to look at something super fast.
Quinn, were you gonna do anything with this while we're waiting for him?
I mean, if Dre doesn't take the opportunity, Quinn's gonna like start doing like some like big apologizing, and then like steadily like be like, I'm sorry, right? Like, we'll leave pay the servers, and she's like, and then kind of like in a bit of like a snooty like kind of like chef manner, be like, but this isn't like what we're like this isn't kind of like cuisine like like we're used to, right? And then like I guess like signal like Vio to like throw like an actual like physical tantrum, and then like pull like Vio like away, like kicking and screaming like toward like past the table.
Yeah, okay. I would like you to roll something, but if you're gonna like bring in like, oh, this food isn't quality, I'll let you add your homie cooking skill to like a subtlety roll.
Okay.
It's social one, but I'm gonna let you use a better skill for it, just
Fair
because.
enough. Fair
Sir,
enough.
The sausage has far too much salt. I disapprove.
Oh no, I rolled a flat 7 plus 3 is a 10. I'm going to add like 3
At
to
least
that.
1 point.
Yeah.
1 point will get you to the next category.
Yeah, I'll add
overkill.
1 to it to make a comedic success.
So yeah, you do this, and Vio was already kind of throwing a physical tantrum. You just like pick him up by like the armpits, being like, "This food isn't well done. We didn't ask for berries. Get your shit together, guys. Come on." And it mostly works, but it does mean that like 1 or 2 of the servers is like kind of following you as you pass by, like, "Oh, let us make it up to you. Come on," The cook is behind the bar in the kitchen, leaning out and just like mad that you're insulting their cooking, but.
I think Quinn is like just gonna be like, next time if you have to put berries in, use nutmeg. You do not skip the nutmeg.
That is important.
It's just like yelling at the chef. And just
We're
like
not getting
making like the
nutmeg here.
biggest fucking scene about like just like this like
The
I
tiniest
think like
one. Quinn is being a Karen right now.
All right,
Yeah.
all right. I got it then. Here's what it is. Here's what it is. Here's what it is. Then I ain't got a skill for it, but I'm gonna argue that I could roll. I'm gonna say, can I do subtlety, and I'm gonna argue swipe, even though I'm not taking something, because my goal here is to have Dre, hopefully, assuming it's like Quinn's got enough of seeing this person even cut their eyes away a little bit, that in the moment this person cuts their eyes away to look at Quinn, Dre can get his pistol out and have it pointed at this person. Now it's a standoff.
All right. Let's see. I'm gonna have you roll that just to see if you can do it out quickly. But I'm gonna say, yeah, he matched Quinn's roll, so
Come on, dice.
we're gonna say he looks away for a minute.
Oh, that's not a fantastic roll. That's one's cocked. I want to reroll that cocked die there. That's a worse roll. Let's see. 5, 6, 7 plus 8, 9, 10, 11. I'm gonna spend. Is this an action roll? I'm willing to spend a grand total of 6 points. I'm sorry, 5 points to make this a full success.
Do you have something that lets you do more than 3 points?
Never mind that I spend 3. Never mind that I don't spend anything. I can't get past the 11 I have.
Unless someone from chat has given people plus anything.
Nope,
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Not yet.
We haven't had anything.
Nope.
Ah.
Whisper to chat.
That it's just gonna be a community success.
Yeah, okay. That's interesting because this person can only get to a comedic success, but beat you. So you draw, and he looked away and starts reacting at the same time you do, and I'm gonna give actually 3 choices, but one of them is for the other players. If another player wants to roll me something to see if they pick up on this and help, one of the 3 that are at the table. However, barring that, the 2 choices are he gets the draw on you, but he doesn't fire yet, or you get the draw on him, but he's about to fire. Like, he's about ready to do violence.
I'm fine with the first option.
Unless someone wants to roll something to be like, do I notice this? And act.
I have an idea, but I don't know that Dre's could appreciate it. But I think given the chance, Maxwell might try and do a calm everyone down type of action of like quick calmer heads type of thing. I don't know if that makes sense. I don't know what I'd have to roll to enter the horse race for that, but
yeah, it would probably be some kind of notice just to be like understand or insight. I will take a subtlety notice actually for like socially reading the situation.
Sure, that's even better.
All right, sorry, subtlety insight of like this is a very subtle social interaction that you're trying to read.
13.
The child is on drill shit.
19 for that.
Yeah, you 100% see what's going down. You even pick up that like Quinn is helping, and so yeah, if you want to try and do something just before people draw.
Perhaps we should all just calm down and have another drink quick. I don't think ending this either way is really going to make a difference in the end. He's right that he's just a cog, and that in the end, that ship will still be after us.
I would like you to roll another subtlety, probably negotiate.
Sure.
Could I assist in that? Because I agree.
Sure.
Cool. And so I do a cooperative. So do I just tell him what to add or something, right?
I think you roll, and if you succeed,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
get +2. Is that what it was?
No, you both are. If you're both doing this,
Yep.
you both roll. You both add your stat, and you add your skill and your friend's skill to the roll.
Okay.
Okay.
Why do we both roll then?
Because you can succeed separately.
Oh,
It
okay.
depends on which one of you rolls better. I'm gonna give that text, that scene, that dialogue to the person who rolls success.
So you said
or if you
roll
both do, then
subtlety.
you
We're
both.
rolling subtlety. What? Negotiate.
Negotiate.
Subtlety, negotiate.
Cool. That's a 10 on the die plus 4 makes a 14.
I got
14.
Math 13 plus
1
4.
to that because his negotiation is 1.
Okay, cool. So that's 15 for me.
And Dre's negotiate is 2.
Okay, so I get to add 2 onto mine. That puts me at a 19
Yes.
then.
Dang.
I've a 3
Yeah.
in subtlety that helps. It bumps everything up by
Yeah.
3.
I got 2.
That helps, yeah.
Yeah, so what was your total, Dre?
15.
15. Yeah, right. So you both succeed if you want to spend 1 point, Dre.
I'll spend 1. Yeah, why not?
Yeah, so you both succeed. So before this draw, because Maxwell, you initiate it, I'm going to let you start, but I do want Dre to sort of pipe in with his opinion on this. So you're like, hey, maybe we can calm this down. And the other guy's like, I would be happy to. And again, if I wasn't clear, my captain is not the only one coming after you.
Perhaps you could do us a small favor.
I mean, I don't know. I play the odds, but let's hear him out for a sec.
Perhaps.
Yeah, you saying that he does calm down, Dre, simply because you like. I think that you still have like basically the gun at the table. You just have it like under your hand now. But it's not pointing at him and your hand's not on the trigger, so he's relaxed slightly. It's like, all right, what favor do you need?
You haven't heard from the saboteurs. Yeah?
No. I assume for good reason. Gesturing to all of you.
Perhaps it's not the reason you think. Or that most would think.
Go on.
Significant damage was done to the ship, and it's been forced to take repairs. Unfortunately, the person who had contact with you was not able to make it.
He considers for a moment and says, significant repairs? Ones that might delay your travel?
Yes.
Yeah, you're gonna have to roll me some lion on that shit.
I mean, it is delaying our travel for today, which we were planning on traveling.
Exactly.
Wait, I need. Can we just like look at like Dre's like aggrieved face from thinking about the repairs?
Yeah. It's not. He's
I will let be also a cooperative role with Dre helping, just if you want to act up
Single
like
tier.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he'll go ahead and play it up. Yeah, I'll got you.
So definitely deceive. I'd say probably subtlety, but you can use another stat if you want.
Subtlety's fine.
And I'm gonna say, Maxwell, you can use your spy shit on this if you want to really supercharge it. I'm gonna say this is part of your cover story, basically.
Saying I can spend 6 points on it. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, because you're good at lying.
Okay. Well, then I'm just gonna make the biggest number I can make, because I was at an 18, but I'll add 6 on it to make it a 24, and then whatever I can get from Dre.
If you're going with what's the skill?
Deceive, so you can add 2 more.
Yeah. I mean, technically, actually,
Unless you want to justify some other skill.
Yeah, I'm gonna have you actually use my yeah, I'm gonna actually go ahead and have my so yeah, you know what I'm gonna do just to make this the best thing? I'm gonna have you use my captaining skill, which is still just a +2, but then I can spend points to help you get it even higher.
Oh yeah, you can use your captaining skill to help his super high roll.
Whatever number you have, add 2, and then I can spend whatever points I want to make it even higher if I want. So
it's at
again,
20,
maximum of 3.
It's at 26.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and spend 3 AP to make it to make it 20, 29. There you go, just shy of 30.
Like, I have not come up with point-based criticals. It was gonna be if you roll 3 6s, but like, I feel like that's effectively a critical, right? That's some crazy high bullshit.
Yeah, it is. I got
in the
you,
system.
baby.
I'm gonna have him roll in case, but like, there's no way he beats you. I just want to get the flavor of how much he believes you. And he got a 1, a 3, and a 4.
Woo!
It doesn't matter what his bonuses are. So you know, you say this, and he like looks at you and is still very suspicious of you. But then he like puts his hand away and he says, "Fine. If that is what happened, I can tell my captain that, and we will stop attacking you. As long as you don't get to the island, that's all we care about."
We're gonna try and get there, but we're delayed 2 days.
That may be enough.
Yeah.
Not our job to physically stop you.
Yeah, I'll allow it.
But I'm going to leave now.
Can you
I
go
will
one
tell
more
my
solid
captain
now?
that you have been. He sighs. Yes?
You ship happens to run to the Birmingham, pass a message to its whatever officer or captain you can. Captain Dre's alive.
Okay.
He's looking for them too.
He looks just a little annoyed. He's like, fine. You have my word. I will send them that message.
Appreciate it. Let's grab.
He stands, gestures to one of the servers who, like, Quinn, by now you're actually, like, out of the room. With Vio.
There's still like the screaming sounds of like child and like hurled insults through the door at the
Vio, we're outside. You can stop now. It's okay.
I like the image that you just went around the corner and like you and Vio are just saying it slightly quieter, just to like the illusion of leaving.
Like, Quinn's just been waiting for the gunshot. Just like, when is the gunshot happening?
Yeah, exactly.
I gave you the time period.
So yeah, this guy like gestures to one of the servers and is like, and hands them a bunch of money. It's like for their orders as well. And as he leaves, it's like, I don't say this because I care about your safety, but simply as a warning. Be careful.
Sorry, fine.
And
Be careful.
leaves. And yeah, I think that's a great place for us to go to break.
Thanks for the drink.
I think we've been going for like hour 20.
Yeah, we're good. All right.
Thank you guys for following us. We're gonna take a 10-15 minute break. We're gonna, use the facilities, get more drinks, stuff like that. So, see you guys in a bit. Okay, bye.
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 By the way.
We're live.
Yes, we are.
Yes.
Hi. Why?
Hey, we're here. I was selecting songs and suddenly we're here. Welcome back to the Violet Sea, the actual play stream of a custom system where we do shenanigans. So, I'd like to bring the stream and players into a scene of the next day. It's early in the morning, and the sort of looming continent that has been coming down from the sky is larger than ever. And you guys know that it's getting close to the time when it's within range. I spoke with players off stream about what they were doing through the rest of the day because I wanted to get to this point. And just for stream and everyone to know, Quinn, you have asked the rest of the crew to paint the ship a different color, like you kind of restained it, changed some of the sails and the layout, so it looks like a very different ship. It still says the Lady Rachel on it, but it has, like, I guess a darker hue, probably.
I think it's probably like changed from whatever the wood color was to like a more like a darker ebony kind of shade.
Mm-hmm. You can dig it. And then also, Oliver, you have made something the previous
Sure
day.
have.
Do you want to describe this thing that you have made?
I mean, to be honest, it just looks like a really big marble, but it's a bomb.
And it has like something to like put a smaller marble into. It's a marble section.
Exactly.
Sort of deal?
Think of just like, you ever had those marble mazes as a kid? Like the big ball that has a maze in it that has a marble in it? It's like that, except there's no maze, and instead there's just a hole for another marble.
Mm-hmm.
About that
The
size.
donut of marble bombs.
Exactly.
Amazing. I
So,
love that.
As the sun has come up, and it's pretty early in the morning, there is a sort of a very reddish purple sunrise over the horizon. You guys are very high up in the air, and there's a tension in the flotilla as people are preparing sails and lashing, and people have mostly undocked from other ships as the aerial flotilla is sort of like spreading out. The one on the ocean is still the same. They're gonna have to wait a lot longer, but people are starting to get prepared and sort of dissipating so that they have the space to maneuver. And the space is yours for your plan. I want to know who's looking at what and doing what, though.
I think Dre's up out on high mast right now, kind of just keeping an eye out, kind of like looking out over the rigging, like keeping an eye for when he sees like a good spot for him. Just watching the whole timing. I think overall he's mostly keeping an eye on the ship, making sure that everyone knows that currently we're doing very silent running, as the game plan is for us to leave a little bit early, but to just barely even ghost with no engines, just the slightest push, to just slightly float across into where just above the old polecat. And then, well, then the fun happens.
Yeah, so at this point, I'd like each of you to sort of decide what part of the ship that you're helping with the captain just having access to all of it with his captain skills. If there's like specifically rigging or cannons or the engine or some place like that, or if you're preparing to do stuff separately. You all can add whatever general skill you think applies to like ship stuff. But if you're doing something unique, sort of what Lucian is planning on doing with Oliver, it's going to be your own skill and not with the rest of the ship, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, I'm probably looking out for lookouts.
That was the same thing I was having the idea of.
Like, who's watching us?
Will be like, yeah, you two will probably be on either ends of the ship, fore and aft, to like look and see who's watching. And definitely, I'd like some roles for that. Quinn, where in at in the kitchen, helping with the engines.
I think what Quinn is currently doing is Quinn is up on deck, like just like keeping an eye on things, but also has like this big, they pulled out like the kind of like sort of like a portable grill thing, and is just like making like this boiling like pot of slightly alcoholic cider. When I say slightly alcoholic cider, I mean like they poured a bottle of rum in there. And is just like passing out like hot mugs of like either cider or like the drink of choice.
It's gotta be a little liquored up to do this. That makes sense. Although I think it's in like little stopper bottles, in that like the ship's about to get rocked, you can't like just have open mugs while climbing around the rigging.
We're about to get our shit
But it is like everyone's hip flask. Everybody's hip flask basically now has a invigorating drink, which I'll say, yeah, y'all can use at any time for like the snacks feature to regain ability points, AP and MP. So yeah, that's the setup. So what I'd like is for Dre to roll me some kind of captaining subtlety roll, probably, to like how are you maneuvering to be. Yeah.
Shit, I dropped the die. That
There it
die's a
goes.
6 though, so I'm keeping it.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
So I got a 6, a 5, and
I'll allow
a
it.
3 for a grand total of 14 plus 4, which is a grand total of 18. Balls.
Yeah.
Which sounds
This
like
is a
success.
Yep, this is a static roll, so that definitely succeeds. You sort of maneuver. It takes a certain amount of like, you know, that thing you do in traffic where you're like, I'm more willing to get a fender bender than you to like get between other cars. You're basically doing that with this shit. Where you're like, it's like, look, I have fresh paint and I don't give a shit if it gets scratched. Is sort of the gentle vibe you're giving off as you squeeze yourself in between ships. And there's actually ships that are technically farther forward than you. And it's early enough that people haven't really started stratifying like up and down yet. Some people's strategy is to start a little lower and undercut people. Some is to like be as high as possible. You make sure that you're lower so that you are under some ships, so you have a clear shot at the thing you're going to do. And you have just gently maneuvered yourself over the polecat. You're pretty sure it's the polecat. You're looking down at your first mate's like, yep, that's it. Looking through a magnifying glass. You're taking his word for it.
Beautiful.
the polecat.
So,
Dr. Oliver?
you know you have like an hour before people normally start. So you tell me how early you want to do this. How close to the wire do you want to cut before people break for it?
Thinking like a
And
half
part
hour.
of that, I think, is I would like some notice or insight rolls from our two lookouts
Yep, got
to
it.
get a vibe for this.
As well. I got a
Super
19.
dramatic music right now. I'm loving it.
No,
You
I
did
rolled
better
really well. I
than
rolled
me.
really well.
That's 14 again, but I'm going to add some points to that.
Big points.
Yeah.
I can be
Yeah,
clear,
we're
this
gonna
isn't
make
so you
that-
had max points again at the start of this.
Oh, okay.
Hell yes.
Yeah, we'll make that a 16.
Okay. Yeah. So you are looking around, and if you allow me to add a certain flavor, I think that Maxwell, you're really looking for like spy shit of like people who are being very subtle and duplicitous about that. You can tell that there are like people on other ships looking at you. It seems like mostly they are people who are just like, hey, this is another ship who has the same goal as us. None of them seem specifically interested in you. And thus far, you're pretty sure your sort of ruse of the misinformation that you released the previous day, or 2 days ago, and the recoloring the ship is working. But for Arden, you're sort of looking around just for when are people going to leave? Like, when's the breaking point? And you think that half an hour before, like, as it gets closer to that, no one's testing that. Like, a few people look like they might risk that if someone else goes. Like, but it's still a little high. You think you could cut it a little closer. You could get like 15 minutes before the expected time, and you're probably still going to be the first one.
Cool.
They don't have the goal. 15 minutes.
Looks over at Eyes, gives her just like the most hawkish smirk. Give them the most hawkish smirk. Just 15 it is then. Hold.
Sounds good.
It gets... So now it's 30 minutes before, and it's this sort of tense, like, who's gonna go? And then it's 20 minutes before, and definitely the tension is rising as you're looking around, and there's still people, like, looking at all the ships around them, like, who's gonna go? And, Arden, you noticed at about, like, 17 minutes before, so, like, a little earlier than you thought, one of the captains has his arm, like, raised nearby, and everyone's tense. They're about to go.
Dre starts singing sea shanties, and at like 17 and a half minutes, and at 17 he's looking over at the lookouts, just like,
Fuck, they're gonna go.
that's the call then. Hit him.
So yeah, what I'd like is, Oliver, you're gonna have to... I'm gonna let you use marble throwing for this, even though I really shouldn't. It's just a big marble.
It's a big marble.
It's a big marble, dude.
It's a
If
really
I can
big
throw a
marble.
marble, surely the ship can
I
throw a
would say
bigger
it's-
marble.
Yeah, of course it can. You are probably going to use... But I'm gonna say you're probably gonna use awareness for this, because you're not really dexterously throwing this. It's a matter of perspective. However, our captain can use captain stuff to improve
Damn
your roll
right I can.
after you've rolled.
Okay.
So y'all roll that shit.
Comes some big captain energy. Oh, that's a sexy looking roll. Triple fours. +4.
16.
Like that number.
I got a 14.
Take +2 on that because of my
yeah,
captain skill. Matter of fact, don't even take
You
that.
have 16.
Matter of fact, I'm gonna spend some ability points for you. Solid 3 for you. So it's a 19. Why? Because I like 19 better than 16.
I like 19 better. Let's see. Yeah, so you are told to drop this, and you're really eyeing it. You're like, and I think you just move it, like, literally just an arm span to the right, over the side, and then drop it. You are gonna wait for the explosion, or are you gonna gun it right now?
He's gonna wait for the boom. He's a bit of a drama queen. He's gonna wait for the boom, definitely.
So, yeah, Quinn, you drop it, and it just silently, it's gone.
The
That's
moment
it.
the drop
As it gets
goes,
smaller and smaller.
Trey just leans back on the sails. Just leans back, just like, wait for it.
And Quinn, you swear you hear a very tiny thunk somewhere down there. And then suddenly, there is a huge flash. And, I mean, you had described to me, what kind of explosion did this bomb make as
What
it
kind of
hits the
boom?
deck?
What kind of boom?
As the...
It looks like at first a normal explosion, you know? It's just an explosion, right? And then it slowly
like
turns
the
into a
power one.
mushroom cloud.
Ah,
And you realize, oh, it's not just a small boom. It's actually a rather large boom.
It's kind of a ways away. I'm also going to give it the flavor that you know this mushroom cloud is partially because the marble you put in there does gravity, and everything there is heavier, so it's sucking the explosion back in. And I think you didn't realize this, but it's concentrated the explosion to a smaller hole, as this rocking explosion that you can feel from here still just a little bit has put a hole right down the center of this thing and taken out a whole mast. And yep, at that moment, everyone on your ship yells "go," and a lot of other ships as well. And suddenly, the race is on.
Let's go!
I like the idea that the person that we thought was gonna go, like, issues the go command, and then the explosion goes, and so everyone's like, "It was them!"
He did it.
I think that the timing is so perfect that like 5 or 6 people basically were about to go at the same time and do, whether or not they know the explosion, like, is the reason to go. They're just like, all on a hair trigger, an explosion. It's like, go now! Ah!
We have to go.
Just go.
This is the tensest moment of most people's entire trip, is like, are we going to get there in time? Is someone going to attack us? What are we doing? So, yeah, I think the thing that happens is that the captain, I'm going to say, Quinn, you can roll cooperatively with this because you're, like, on deck helping with just the maneuvering of this. Both of you roll whatever stat you think would be for captaining and or running the rigging.
Man, y'all already know what it is. I'm going to say that for this one, it's going to be command. And the specific kind of command for flavor here is that Dre isn't actually specifically giving any orders. His crew knows what the fuck they're doing. Instead, Dre is just swinging about the riggings, blaring sea shanties. Like, he's just having a great fucking time. Like,
Quinn just doesn't say a damn thing. Quinn just like calmly packs up their leaves Vio in charge of the snacks.
Cider.
And just like starts helping with the rigging, like leaping up and just like swinging various places to, like, you know, lash the sails in place. Are you doing like a dexterity roll for that?
Definitely dexterity. You can do dexterity, and I'm gonna let you, if you would like, do athletics or your. Yeah, I'm gonna say athletics probably, unless you think you can justify a martial arts skill, but I don't think your martial art is about that.
Nope. I'll do athletics.
Foxy looks very proud.
Oh no, my dice hate me.
I know, yeah, my dice are not being
shout out Drizzy and the OVO boys. It's 666s over here, alright? Big 6 shit, alright?
Yo.
Big zone 6 shit. You mean like 21
I
Savage
got
out here.
3, a 1,
Yeah?
and a 1. That's a 9 flat, but plus 4 is a 14. Oh no, that's a 9 flat.
And, see, add 2 to yours.
3. Yeah, and then I could add 2 for comedic success.
Cool. So that's so we got so that's a 666 is 18 plus my command and captain.
Add 2 to yours.
So that's 20. So it actually makes it 24.
Yeah. Thankfully, only one of you really needs to succeed on this, but Quinn, add 2 more to yours, so you're definitely in comedic success.
Yeah.
Quinn, you're not as used to this. I think at one point you do have to be not like rescued, but like someone has to steady you, and you look back and it is the other rigger.
I think like Quinn just like gets tangled up in rope like for a second because it's like it forgets like which knot to use.
Yeah, because Quinn's not as much of a sailor as like the ship and the Sawbone, so like, you know, Danil has to come and like you just had something wrapped around your ankle that was about to go poorly, but she almost just casually like monkeys along the top of this mast and just unties you really quick. You just barely know. You're like, oh, well, thanks. Yeah, so you guys are off like a rocket. I think below your engineer Reese has just given it a little extra gas, just a little extra oomph forward. And what's the sound of this? Because the organ's still kind of functional, just you can't really play on it. It still makes organ sounds.
It's almost like a bird screech, like low key, like the sound Chidori makes. Like it's low key that. Like it's just like that super loud like bird.
That's a chirping though.
It's like a chirping screech. It's like a screeching.
Yeah. So there's like undertones of that, but yeah, the sort of
blaring,
high-pitched screeching
chirping kind of, you know.
Yeah. I think the organ almost adds like a chord sound to it of like multiple screeches and like it's nearly a tune. In fact, you think that maybe Reese is fixing like the off-tuneness is that it's like a dark chord of screeching as you move forward. I'd like the 2 lookouts to give me another roll as this thing rockets forward. Like 5 or 6 ships are neck and neck with you as you go.
Well, I know a song, it's the song of
And you could
the
be helping
sea.
each other, so.
Row me, bully boys, row. And I'll sing you a song if you'll sing it with me. It goes, row me, bully
Oh,
boys,
that's such a
row.
bad roll. Why are
And
my
we
dice
row
like
me,
this
bully
today?
boys, we're in a hurry.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
sorry.
not gonna work. That's a 7.
Uh-oh. Wait, hold up.
Oh, I need to add my fucking
motherfuckerin'.
modifier.
Can
I need to do math. That's a 10.
Please do math first.
Can I
Okay.
cooperatively motherfucker with a motherfucker?
Sure. Although Maxwell can also be cooperating with
So
yeah, with them as well.
Okay, but I can.
How does that work again?
we could-
You just add their skill, whatever skill they're adding to this.
555. Oh my god, what the hell? So yeah, that's 15 plus
Bruh.
my 4 for my usual captaining bonus. So that's a grand total of
If the
19.
captain is helping, then yes, Sir Heck, you're gonna add 2 extra to that roll before points.
Okay.
So I have.
Okay.
it's
So
a
that'd be a.
notice check, yeah?
Well.
Heck, take
Gotta
my
be
points
some
then.
kind of notice.
Heck, take my points. I can spend points for you, so take 3 of mine.
Okay.
So that's
So you can
Uh,
spend one
so
more,
15
and then it's a full
right?
success.
So
Okay.
so with the notice,
Yeah, I'll
I was
spend a point.
Yeah.
Gotcha, baby.
Sorry. Purple, what you doing?
I was gonna say it's a notice check, yeah. So I have a 3 skill, so you'd get a 3 skill from me if I was helping you.
Oh.
Well, I can
Okay.
spend points for them
I
now.
don't know. There's a lot going on.
If I spend a
I
point-
rolled
That's fine.
well, but it's okay.
I got a
That's fine.
12, but I can spend point. I can only spend points to get up
Yeah.
to 15, but if we're helping and we're getting a skill, then if I spend points, it gets there, right?
Yeah.
We'll say those 2 are helping. Sir Heck, you still get to a 16 before, if you spend 1 point, it kind of
Yeah,
evens
I
out.
got it. I can do that.
And then Maxwell as well, because the 2 of you are sort of passing notes very quickly, like pointing stuff out to each other. These 5 other ships are coming up alongside you. They're sort of spread around the over flotilla. 2 of them are also pirate ships, and 3 of the other ones are more like legitimate ones from the other side. And I think probably Maxwell, you identify one on one side and Arden the other. I think Maxwell would probably look at the pirate ships, and Arden, you might be looking at the legitimate ones, unless you want to reverse that. But one legit ship is seemingly manning cannons towards maybe you, maybe all of the other pirate ships. And one other pirate ship doesn't look like they're manning cannons, but it has this sort of mechanism that one of you notice that looks like it's being primed. It's like a long panel along the side of the ship, and there's some sort of, I don't know, like spring mechanism on the ship that they're about to activate, and you don't know what that long panel does, but they're getting really close to your side, like they're like edging in to it. And Dre, I think you realize they're not broadsiding you. They have some sort of bladed thing attached to their ship for side ramming while
Yeah, I
running.
don't like that.
Motherfuckers, absolutely not.
And so you have 2 attacks coming, and I'm gonna let actually I probably let Oliver, who still has who hasn't really done anything in this moment after dropping the bomb. Do you want to do something, or is this gonna be a ship thing? The one with the bladed thing is much closer to you, so you can definitely get that from here.
Ooh. Where am I? Can I just...
You can be anywhere on the ship. The ship is one zone. I'm not going to be picky
Okay.
about where you're... So long as you're on the top deck or below deck is the only thing you have to decide.
Right. Now these bladed things, are they magnetic? Do they look
You have no
metallic?
idea. The spring thing on top definitely looks metallic. You haven't seen the blade yet. It looks like it's going to be a spring-loaded thing that comes out of this long panel.
Okay.
Y'all ever see the animated Sinbad movie?
Yep.
The blade thing from that they have on the side of their ship. That's what this is.
Alright.
Same brain
In
cell
that
yet again.
case...
Yeah.
We'll fire at them.
Yeah. You want to target something specific, or are you just going to basically give them a little love tap to say back off?
Yeah, just gonna fire at them. Nothing too specific.
Alright. Give me a marble roll and tell me what element you're using.
You're
And you're
losing
definitely
marbles.
losing this marble. Like, you get 2. You are down at least 2, assuming that you replenish the one that you lost like
Yes.
several sessions ago.
All right. That's a 15.
Ooh, big numbers.
You spend a point, and it's a full success.
Absolutely. All right. So yeah, I'm gonna spend the point, and I'm throwing just, you know, your regular explosive marble.
Big
Nothing crazy
booms.
here. Just throwing marble that can go boom.
What do
All
you mean
right.
nothing crazy? You're
Aiming
losing
for
your
anything in
marbles.
particular, just the side of it.
That
Just
one
to the
more
side of it, just to let it know.
Yeah,
Anything
just
specific you're targeting?
Oh, just at the side of the ship.
Yeah, okay. So you are just talking one. You're like, wherever this lands, it lands. And they rolled real low. So you actually managed to get it, like, right above the cannons and below this sort of blade mechanism thing. And it hits the side of the ship. And this is a ship. It's your amount of firepower you can throw at it isn't going to, like, obliterate it. It's designed for taking fire. However, you make this big flaming explosion, and the side panel of this, like, long panel thing kind of comes off. And you can see the blade mechanism underneath. But also, the whole side of the ship is on fire. And you see them swerve a bit, and they actually start backing off. Like, I don't know that we want to be close to a ship that can do this separate of their cannons.
Mhm.
And it does give your guys time to open up the cannons and basically threaten the same thing, but bigger.
Yep. Actually, hold on. So there's another ship coming to attack us too, right?
Yeah, I was about to say, second thing, so Oliver can't deal with this, but another ship much farther away looks like they're about to broadside probably all of the pirate ships, all, like, 4 of you over here.
Fantastic. I think Dre will see that and look at turn to the ship's crew and just, oh, look at that, friends. Let's say good morning. At that point, yeah, let's bring the guns up.
broadside?
Let's hit them assholes first.
Yeah, I'm gonna say I'm rolling for Reese, our dear friend who's not here.
And I'm rolling for
He's
me,
helping
who's
you with
captain.
this as he...
Okay.
Yeah, so you roll the captain, and I'm gonna add some of his stuff since I have his...
Cool. Here comes that roll. That's another good roll for me. 544.
And add 2 to that.
Sweet. So that's 13 plus 4 from my stats makes it a 17. Makes it 2 more. Makes it a 19.
Cool. What's your goal here?
Huh?
Is it take this guy out, or is it just give him something to think about?
Oh, it's smack
Are you
the
trying
shit
to
out
take
of
this
them.
ship down?
I don't actually care how much damage we directly deal. If we disable them, even fucking better. I don't care. I just want to hit them with every fucking cannon we can right now.
So yeah, you just have the ship list just a little so that you can arc this a little better at this distance. And cannons go off. You manage to fire first as these guys were preparing to broadside. And in fact, as you hit it, you see the ship over there shudder, and their shots go too low as they have mistimed it. And it all misses it, and they don't look so good. So I'm gonna have another maneuver check to see, because you have pulled ahead and you're maybe inching out the other ones. The 2 ships that haven't fired at you look like they're trying to basically head you off a little bit as you all are climbing up as fast as possible. So yeah, Quinn and the captain, do me some rolls.
Here comes captaining. That's a. Oh, I dropped a die, obviously. It's a 13
Okay,
on the die,
I have
plus a 4 makes it a 17.
I have a
17, right?
10 on the die. Plus I guess Dex and Acrobatics is 14.
Yeah,
I'll
it could be
spend 2 to make
Dex
it exact.
and athletics if you want it plus 1 more.
Yeah. So
Let it be, yeah,
it
plus
would be
4.
14 plus Dex and Athletics. So
yeah. So 18
that's
without
it.
points. Well, that's pretty good. Yeah, you guys are sort of trimming the sails to try and get as much uplift as possible. Danil is actually, like, messing with the wind to try and give you just a little more updraft, a little more forward motion. You guys, you manage to go sort of, like, up in at an angle so that even though they're trying to head you off on, like, a 2D plane, you're sort of avoiding it in sort of a 3D space as you continue to go up. The other 3 of you, is there something else you want to do? It doesn't look like someone's directly attacking you, but you can definitely roll more stuff for other insight or to do other ship stuff.
I think Max will just be taking notes of the ships that we were firing at us and trying to cross-reference and figure out what they're about and try and figure out why they've been doing what they were doing.
Yeah, definitely roll me some knowledge to see if you get any insight on that.
There you go. Lore, probably, feel like?
Sure.
Or deduce, maybe.
I'll let deduce if you want to do that.
that's going to be... I don't know how to math. 17.
15.
Yeah.
I don't know how to math. Yeah, my theme song.
And then immediately pass after saying I don't know how to do it.
No, that's why it works so well, because I literally did all the math for this system. And yet I feel like I don't know how math works. Anyways, yeah, you look at the ones that fired at you, and it seems like... I mean, the one official one is a ship that's sort of known for specifically hunting pirates, and so maybe this is just like general beef, and they definitely didn't seem like they're aiming for you specifically. Their broadside probably would have hit everyone at this range. The one that fired at you, though, is a privateer ship that definitely has done business with the IITC in the past. You don't know if that means that they're coming after you in particular. They're just known for being kind of vicious opportunists, let's say. Important to note, though, as you look at the other ones, the Flashy Wren is one of the ships that is neck and neck with you that's trying to cut you off, and it hasn't fired at you yet. This seems more... This looks more like, say, friendly rivalry of like, I'm gonna win this. He's playing bumper cars instead of for keeps.
Wait, are we gonna do the drive and stare? Where we keep driving straight and we stare at each other?
I mean, I was gonna just shoot them with the cannons was the game plan, but we could do that too.
Or no, you just gotta be cold. You just gotta be cold and not even look at them. Just look
Exactly.
straight ahead.
Yeah.
Nobody makes eye
They're not important enough.
contact.
They're not important enough for us.
But yeah, the Flying Wren is more of a Zeppelin type one, so it is like a much more sleek, long sort of deal. And you have just maneuvered around it, so you're neck and neck. You're a little higher and at an angle, but you can kind of see down onto the ship.
Okay.
So if you want to target something specific, otherwise you're just going to be hammering its HP.
Hey, how about
effectively.
Can I, so how close is it to us?
You're pretty close. Like, I'd say, like, a few zones for people, let alone ships. You're almost like melee range for a ship.
Okay, so theoretically, how many person zones could someone swing on a rope?
Yeah, I'd say you're like within 2. If you want to maneuver and swing on over there, you definitely can. But
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna do a thing, and maybe hopefully use a little bit of my abilities here. If you can work with me here, GM. So,
yeah.
I am going to have Dre. He's already been on the rankings the whole time, having a great fucking time with the shanties.
Yeah.
The moment
You
he sees
came from the
flashy
reading,
wren,
which is an interesting thing to do.
The moment he sees the wren, he stops singing and just looks at the wren, bloody smile on his face, just like, oh hell yeah. Takes the rope he's on, small dagger, cuts it. You know, good running start off of whatever mast he's on. Wants to take a nice long run. I want to go. It's a Zeppelin-like ship, yeah.
Yeah.
I'd
Zeppelin
like
type.
to use my swing to kind of arc myself to go up to like the side of its Zeppelin or its balloon.
Mm-hmm.
As I'm coming down, I'd like to let go of the rope, draw my sword, and drag my way down it.
I
It'd be some classic pirate shit. I think you don't say anything, but your first mate definitely recognizes what you're about to do. You hear him swear. Cantoni's like, ah, shit. And he's the one at the helm, and he just pulls you in a little closer so you can do this maneuver. And as you're swinging, he's like, I guess we'll stay in range?
I'm very glad he said that, actually, because I have an answer for him, and it's not with words.
Yeah, right. So yeah, I'm gonna have to roll something to do this, and whatever you think you are allowed to roll.
Duh! I'm gonna roll. First I'm gonna roll it's gonna be dexterity and acrobatics, obviously, because why would it not be? Here comes numbers. That's 5, 4, and 4 for a grand total of 13 on the die, plus 5 makes an 18 before any points are spent.
Damn. So yeah, you easily swing on over here because they're not expecting this. You land, and then your blade comes out, and you land on the side of this balloon, and it starts dragging down it, and you can hear... I mean, it's a Zeppelin, it's made so that it's multiple, like, sections, but definitely the more you are releasing, the more that this thing has to take energy used for propulsion and put it into lift, so that it doesn't... So you are definitely slowing it down this way. You're dragging down this, and your ship is still pretty close, and is trying to, like, match your descent so you can still make it back. What you doing?
He lets go of the sword as it's still in the sail. Begins to kind of just like descend backwards. Spins as he still has the dagger in his other hand. Cuts one of their ropes and grabs it to sling his way back. I'll roll again if I have to, and I will demand that I roll again just so I can use a skill here.
Yeah. No, you definitely have to roll for this, as you've just done a very complicated maneuver.
Oh, Tate,
I think
what do you know?
you drag
You're
until
already
you're
hovering
down
over
to
the
a
skill I
rope.
want to use.
Yeah, I was looking at those.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and use my skill Falling with Grace if I fail this. So we'll go to see how it goes first. That's not a great roll, but it might be borderline. So let's see. That's a grand total of 9 on the die. With acrobatics makes me a 14. And then let's see, Falling with Grace. Okay, cool. Yeah. So then, yeah, I'll do that. You know, I'll do that, and I'll take the comedic success, and I'll use Falling with Grace to ignore one minor wound I would take from that.
Yeah. So you grab this rope and swing back, and I think for a minute you're like, oh, I've swung too low. They were expecting something else, and you're about to like just hit the side of your own ship.
That would suck.
And I think you managed to, like, at the last second, you yank upwards on the rope and just like as fast as possible, and end up like barely like flipping sideways. Your back grazes the top of the railing, and you just manage to like just barely parkour your way on top of this thing, roll, and you're like, and you can play that out if you want, but like it is obvious this was just there.
Oh yeah,
like
I mean,
if you
yeah,
had
he's gonna
one
play
less.
the fuck off because I mean, Captain Dre lives for danger, obviously, but definitely in the corner of his mind, she's like, holy fuck, I almost died. Oh my god. But like outwardly, just like takes like his back grazes the railing, so there's some pain there, but he rolls, lands, sticks the dagger in until he sticks the landing more, picks it back up, flips it, lands. Just I need a new sword now.
I think it's definitely your Windrunner rigger who's like, that was pretty good. You didn't have to let go of the sword though, Captain. Just saying.
I wanted to counterbalance the weight, and plus, it looks badass. Gives him a reminder.
It's true. And yeah, as their ship starts going backwards, you swear you hear gently someone like, damn you, just yelled to the wind.
Mwah.
As it slowly passes. So now there's one person neck and neck on your side, but as you get closer to the island, the two official ships are getting closer. So I'm going to need one more roll to try and head them off. And the other 3 or 4 of you guys can decide what you do about that if you have any fun ideas. I'm going to say you're getting close to all of them so that you could all be in range if you just asked to be. It'll just take the ship to maneuver some. But you have like the room to as it's getting whittled down to who's really ahead.
I mean, do you think we could just outrun them?
Yeah, if you all want to help some way with that.
Thoughts, crew?
Are they close to each other?
Yeah, you all are getting kind of close as you're all sort of starting to converge on the island the continent has gotten bigger and bigger. It now feels like a continent as it's actually difficult to see the other side of it.
Cool. I'm gonna throw a gravity marble between them and try to crash them into each other.
To collapse?
Oh yeah.
Right.
Now kick!
Okay.
You're gonna have to signal to the first mate to like get you a little closer so you can be within range to throw it over a whole other ship. Like you're gonna have to be almost within kissing distance with one of these to do that, but that's possible.
All right.
You want to pick the other? I guess it'll have to be the 2 legitimate ships because the other one, there's only 1 pirate ship on that side.
Oh yeah.
But first, the rigging maneuver roll from our captain and our ship's cook.
So yeah, 11 plus 4 is 15. I'll add a +1 to make it a success.
What the
16.
captain get?
All right.
Oh, sorry, me. Yes.
Yeah.
I blanked out for a second there. I'm so sorry. That's a number. Oh,
Okay.
okay. That's a 10 on the die. Plus my captain and skill makes it a 14.
Okay.
A 4-point spend.
And then the plus 2 from
Makes it a 16.
from Quinn's help. So
That makes it a 16.
yeah, you guys both. You're doing pretty good. Definitely the other ships are still pretty neck and neck as they're also rolling fairly well, but you do manage to maneuver closer to the other two legitimate ones. And yeah, Oliver, you're gonna have to. I'm gonna have you do 2 rolls with this. One to get the marble in the right place, but one to be like, can I charge this enough? Because this is a scale of magnitude more than what you normally do.
All right. So for the throw, that's a 13, and I'll spend 3 points to make it a whatchamacallit?
16.
To make it a 16.
Yeah.
For success.
Can I boost
And
his charge roll?
Yeah, you just hug. Yeah, I'll say you can help.
I'm the
With,
captain.
you can
I'm
do a
a
captaining on
motivational
that.
speaker.
That's a little outside.
Yeah, I reach back and I throw it as hard as I can, and at the end I go, oh, my back. That may have been a bit too far.
Oh yeah, you gotta throw your whole body into it. And you're like, oh, a little much. Okay.
Yeah, little much. Not that young anymore. All right, and then.
You got to swig of the nice cider to be like, painkiller.
All right, and then for the for the charge.
I actually don't care if you don't get my bonus points, even though I just rolled super good. All I really care about is getting me able to spend points for you if you need to, since you just spent your points.
Yeah, but add an extra 2 to whatever you get, and this is definitely your magic skill, and probably, let's see, I want to say would normally be willpower, but I kind of want to give you knowledge in, like, the best place to put a gravitational field. Seems like a very knowledge-based thing.
Gotcha. In that
Or,
case,
like, the right size or whatever.
That's a 13.
After the plus 2 from his captain skill?
Before. So 15.
Before.
And then I
So
will spend
15,
a single point.
you can spend points.
Make
This
that
is
a
going to be
16.
contested, though, because they're going to try
I'll
and...
put in the full 3.
Oh.
Are you kidding me? All 3.
Yep.
And
So
do I also need to
is-
spend points to make this better?
I mean, if you are worried about how well they're going to roll,
I mean,
you're not
it's
going to
18
know
right
until
now.
you spend the points. Yeah.
I'll also spend 3 points. Why not?
21.
I don't want to like tell you before you do it because there's no way you could react to it. But oh yeah, they both rolled pretty poorly. They were not ready for random gravity swell. So you just huck this, and it takes a long time to get there because you are throwing this as far as possible. And then, is there like a visual thing with the marble, or is it just gravity? Gravity doesn't have like a visual.
There's no visual this time either.
Yeah, I think that's part of why they're so surprised as you see both of them not like immediately slam together, but the noses of them that you put like towards the forward part of it suddenly just lean in almost way too aggressively. They're like wobbling, and as they start trying to overcorrect, you see that the farthest one from you rolled the poorest, and it overcorrects way too much, and is now listing to the side where the other one ends up running into it as well.
Yeah.
So now there's like collapse into each other. They don't look like they're gonna sink. Both of them are Zeppelin style, so their balloons kind of prevent that from happening too much, but they have both got knocked so off course that they quickly fall away. And as you head forward, the last ship is neck and neck with you, and you can see them. They're definitely the ones that Maxwell, you know the least about. They're not like a well-known ship, but you can look over and they sort of look at you and see how determined you are and what you've done, and you see them slow down a little bit. They're like, we're fine being second, guys.
Mwah.
As you speed off towards the wandering continent. And the race is sort of over, and I'm going to change from the less dramatic music to
Dre comes down.
something a little more hopeful.
Dre looks over at the carnage they just fucking caused. Over at his crew and just, Storm Goddess is watching us today. We can't lose.
At least you. That was impressive.
Well, she's always watching me.
You guys are gaining as much height as possible and speed. As much as the danger is over, there's still like a lot of work the crew is doing to adjust the little wind differences and keeping the engines stoked. I think that Reese has to ask some of the other people who can channel to like feed a little bit into the engines just to give it that little extra oomph, because he's quickly running out of MP. But as you eventually crest over, you get through some clouds that have obscured your vision. You get to the top of it, and you finally see the top of this continent. As you get over the limit, you can all like only mostly breathe. Those of you who are not familiar or as used to being in this high in the air realize it's thin in a way that is uncomfortable but still manageable. Ozturk comes up on the deck and is like wheezing a little, but is not complaining. And you can see as you reach over, looks like
No, it's good. It's fine.
It's gone. The what?
We lost you for 30 seconds, like a microsecond there, but you're back. I think.
Oh yeah. So as you reach over the top, you were expecting a landscape similar to a regular island, and while the mountains are there, a lot of these continents have maybe 2 or 3 big peaks that you know is where the like levitating hearts of the island live in the base of those. There's not trees in a traditional sense. There's not a lot of greenery to match the like earth and browns. In fact, it is a massive number of colors of all kinds. As especially Arden, you'd realize it's coral that's grown on here, as this spends at least most of the year under the aether. And the aether coral has a lot of brilliant reds and yellows and some purples as well if it's trying to be hidden, but here it looks vibrant beyond all reason. Sorry, what?
So pretty.
Did I miss something?
Nope. You're fine.
Okay. Sorry, you just were pointing at stuff like, what's going on? You can see a few small shapes moving that, again, Arden would be the only one who really has the context for this, but a few of you who are more academically inclined would realize those aren't small in reality. They're these massive, like, crustaceans that live in the deep aether that are moving around just slowly as they're finally able to breathe again, but only kind of. And there are everywhere buildings that have collapsed or been grown over, sort of wrecked beauty. And Ozturk sort of just sits and looks. And as much as there's awe in his face as well, there's sadness. And he almost isn't paying attention to whoever's near him, and it could be any of you. He's just... And there lies a fallen civilization. Lost hope.
My fallen civilization. My people.
Ours.
It's weird in the tongue, yeah?
Yes. I've never felt like I really belonged in academia, truly. There's not many of us there. But we could have been. There used to be.
There's a few too many of us where I'm from, but never felt like I belonged anywhere, really.
Well, maybe we find the answers that I'm looking for. We can at least figure out why. And how maybe we can put some pieces back together.
Yeah. Put some pieces back together. I'm thinking that's exactly what I think I want to do.
And, yeah. If there's any space you guys want to take, but at this point you're basically about to reach the continent, and it's only going to take you, like maybe a week of flight to get to where you need to in the middle of this continent. And, as a suggestion, how do we feel about either taking another break, or maybe even saying, hey, we're going to start the next session from here? What do y'all think, players?
I'm cool with either option. I think that's... I'm gonna say it's your call, boss.
Yeah, agreed.
We started a bit late, so I don't mind going, like, maybe half an hour more, but...
I think it's on you. Do you want to go half an hour?
Depends what you
more?
got planned.
Take a quick break.
Yeah, let's take a quick break. We will be back. I think we are going to continue at least another, like, half hour or so
Sounds good.
afterwards, but, yeah, give us a bit, and we'll be back in a second. See you guys.
See ya.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Violet Sea, the actual play stream of this system that I've made. Yep, it's going great. And we finally get to be on the weird-ass wandering continent. Let's go. So yeah, the trip as soon as you get to like the edge of the continent goes pretty smoothly. You can see other ships that were behind you sort of start scattering into various directions as they have places they're meant to scout out or secure. But for you, it's a pretty easy time going as Ozturk gets to the helm and starts giving like physical giving directions based on landmarks as he pulls out his great big map and is going over it. You're given a heading, and he is sort of organizing where you're going. And I'd like to give you guys a minute to sort of interact in this calm before we get to other stuff. So,
yeah. First thing Dre will do is turn to everybody, just like, nice work back there, all you.
Back at you.
Just a little show offiness, don't mind me.
Did good,
It's,
Brett.
surprisingly fun.
Couldn't agree more. Like,
Just don't go fall near death.
Yeah.
Me dying like that? Come on. Not flashy enough.
Well, if you did die, Vio would cry, so don't do that.
Wouldn't want to make Vio cry, certainly. If anything, that'd be that's just the worst thing, right? Any case. So
I mean, it's not great.
It's definitely not great. Don't make children cry. It's true. You don't want to cry children. So this is the place, huh? It's bigger than I
I'm
thought.
imagining this is happening like in sort of the captain's quarters where the map is. And when you say to the place, Ozturk is like, well, this is mostly the place. And he sort of puts a finger down, and you can see that it's near one of the main mountains, the central mountain to this facility, to this continent. It's like, what we're looking for is here, the very center, and it will take us about a week to get there.
This place is massive. A week just to get to the middle of it. Huh.
It's a whole continent. It's what makes this unique amongst mining operations. Other wandering islands get stripped down fairly quickly and are more or less just unlivable rocks that bounce up and down at this point. But
Question, speaking of that, once you mentioned strip mining, you seem to know a lot about this place. Between you and Metal Man over there, place I've listed over at Oliver.
Reese, yeah.
No, Oliver actually. Do y'all have any thoughts on where these mineral deposits these people might be looking for to mine the most would be located? Just vague locations.
Ozturk doesn't really even need to ask Oliver, not to be taking Oliver out of scene, but he's like, oh, well, they generally do, and he's like pointing to the other two mountains that are closer to the edge. Around there is where if they're trying to get more of the aether metals that they would need, that's where a lot of the hearts of these islands deposit it as they absorb more of the micro minerals from the ocean. Although there are also other valuables, and he sort of points to sort of the rim around. It's like, this map is actually technically a little outdated. The edge of this island has changed. Simply crunching down the raw rock and getting any minerals out of it is part of the strip mining process, seeing as you can't normally do that on any island people are living on. Even something as simple as a lot of clay can be seen as quite valuable when you don't have to worry about destabilizing the island.
Interesting.
A lot of the smaller mercantile vessels will grab the clay because it's not as fought over.
Makes perfect sense.
Yeah. Several of them will actually grab the clay and fire it into valuable pottery simply because it's possible to do so while mining. It doesn't take that much effort mining it.
A lot of good stuff around here.
Absolutely. A lot of smaller operations and some larger ones further in the core. And all being worked by the same people.
Ozturk was going to comment. He's like, well, I guess, yeah, it would be, in the end, basically the same. The IITC has effectively bought all the contracts for everyone who would be doing this, just as sort of the trading middleman. There's one other operation, and he points to something that's like not quite in the center, but not like exactly near where you're going. It's like there's apparently some other valuable, well, less aether materials, such as gold and silver mines in this area that were gold and silver mines before it fell, that others are working. And he points to a few other places that are just like not really in your way, but they're closer to the center of the mountain. I'd imagine actually that's where a lot of the larger ships like the Birmingham and such that might be ending up there. They're much better at specific resource stripping.
So that puts us just out of, framing that in my mind here. So it's looking like we know for a fact there are going to be smaller mining operations, a lot done like around the rim of the continent for other like less important resources.
Yeah.
And there's some more important ones around the middle. In particular, there's a large one where like a lot of large ships would be, where the Birmingham would be, or like ships like it. And that's kind of like in like the central mountain range area.
Yeah, so there's 3 main big mountains where the cores are. The other 2 mountains that are close to the end are being stripped right now for aether metal, and then in a similar distance from the center mountain is going to be like other mining operations of gold, silver, stuff like that. And you guys are going to the center mountain, so they're kind of all equidistant from you at that point.
Okay, good to know. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So Dre is just like taking in all this information, like as they're kind of pointing, as Oscar's pointing out his locations, he is marking the map with like a, like with his dagger, kind of like taking some scores in the map so he can kind of make notes of what these points are.
I think you go to mark his map, and he's like, wait, no, and he has a second one. It's like, you can mark that one. This one's my personal one. I don't want to hold it.
Whatever. And just starts to score it a bit, takes notes of it, just like, this is helpful information. Thanks, Doc.
But yeah, you can see his personal map has a lot of like notes and things he's marked as like, we've searched here and we haven't there. So the generic one he got specifically so you can mark up, because he's like, no, this is mine.
Alright. So, yeah, he marks off all those locations. He actually, so he says, alright, so, not minding that. We're headed for a vault, basically, here, on the central mountain, yes? Takes about a week to get there?
Yes.
Fair enough. Do we all know where we're headed?
Your first mate says, we already have the heading now.
And for now, it's business as usual. I'm sure the eggheads over here want to stop and get sampling or research and things done, and that can happen if we have the time for it when we're working for repairs or upkeep. Otherwise, need you all back on ship on a right schedule. Let's keep moving, alright? It's all about speed for now. As he says this, he rolls up the map that Oscar gave him, that he has the markings that he made on it, and tucks that into a drawer in the captain's quarters. And just says, alright, well, that's all I have for you right now. If you have anything to attend to right now, or any early observations you want to make, when you stick your head in the book for a while, go do that. I'll catch you all whenever I need to.
Understood.
I love the sound effect that's happening right now.
Good birds.
I think it plays into one of the first things that happens on this first day as you fly in. We're basically the maximum height that you possibly could like breathe in comfortably. And as you do, a bunch of like gulls and other seafaring birds have also like flown in right next to you and are all dropping off and getting at just the wealth of little mollusks and things that are there that they want to eat at. It's almost like a swarm, but they're like doing the same thing as you. It feels almost like you're part of it.
There's so many birds. It's like nothing could stop that many of them. You had enough of them, right?
Incredible, right?
Beyond.
And Arden, you would know that technically it's about as many birds as would normally live on this continent, and that nature abhors a vacuum, so it just looks like a lot because they're all flying at once.
Mm-hmm. It's the middle of that bell curve, honestly, in terms of population.
Huh. You study this kind of stuff, Arden? These creatures?
Yeah, it's what I do with my life, pretty much.
Huh. I thought aether, bio, whatever you said it was, just something weird nerds do. This is kind of cool.
Yeah.
I would love for Arden to roll some kind of like aether bioscience thing.
All right. Yeah. Let me
With some kind of
look at my
knowledge.
stuff because it's been a bit.
Yeah, you haven't had to use the skill tree for a while. So it's 2 to aether biology, and it's normally a mental thing. If you wanted to do that plus awareness or
Sure.
knowledge, I think either would be.
Sure. Let's see. I'm looking for my knowledge. There we go. Okay. Oh my god, are you kidding me?
Oh no.
That's the worst roll. What are you talking about? That's awful. I rolled 2 1s and a 2.
Oh no.
Are you kidding me? Well,
You are having a hard time like seeing between the birds to the stuff you want to see that's like on the surface. You see actually 1 or 2 birds like that land just vanish and you just don't know why. You're like, okay. And some of them land, especially in like the muddy or like the areas that were very dirt and look like they should be mud but have dried up that are like right on the edge here. They're basically former places people have been mining. But yeah, you do notice like, oh yeah, some of those birds disappeared. Maybe this place is a little more dangerous than it looks at first glance.
ah.
But you don't get a chance to see what it is, and you are not sure what would do that. They're going to jail. They're going to someplace worse than that.
They have failed.
Yeah, you have a pretty easy time sailing for like the first few days, and you guys get all your ability points back. Just to be clear, as you are heading towards it, you do have to like take a bit of a arc towards the center as a huge, what looks like the remains of a city are between you and your target, and you're trying to sort of skim as low as possible and decide that it's easier to take a small left curve than it is to fly up and over it. And I would like basically all of you to roll some kind of notice about this city, but Arden can use their aether biology stuff.
Okay. Well, it might not matter if I keep rolling like this.
That's
15.
I got an 11.
Okay, that's slightly better.
14.
That's... Hold on, I still have to add my modifiers. That... Oh my gosh, there's so much
Plus
math.
3.
Okay, I think that's... Yeah. That's 13. Okay. Together.
13. You can spend points to get it to 16 if you want, all of you. Just remember that it is
Yeah,
11
I
to
have
15
points.
is comedic, 16 is
Yeah.
higher.
Yeah, we refreshed them, so I'll spend.
Yeah, I agree. Same. I'll bump mine up with a couple points to make it a 16. A 2.
Why
Yeah.
not?
So each of you that had like a comedic success, if anyone did,
I did not make
as you sort of go around the city, you can see that these buildings have, once you pass by some of the tall ones fairly close, have like a lot of these mollusks that for a minute you're like, oh yeah, those are the kind of things that attach to the side of like ships that are in like aether areas. I think Dre in particular, those mollusks remind you of your time when you did work on like a lightning plantation is the only word for it. Those suckers got stuck on the side of the like metal lightning catchers a lot, simply because you lived in a place where the aether lifted up above the island quite often due to storms.
Yeah.
None of you but Arden would know that they're basically little polyps that like go in the aether and then attach to something, like almost mushroom-like, but
Yeah, I think
Sorry.
Dre would see those and like point them out. It's like, huh, light suckers, all the way out here.
Arden, you would know for sure that's not a name that any academic uses for that, but you also know that's not an uncommon name.
Yeah, it's a cool
They're extremely
name.
conductive. They're extremely aether conductive, actually. Like, these things, if they get on an aether engine, it doesn't work. They just suck it all up. And, especially, Arden, because you rolled well enough to get a full success, and those of you who did get a full success would see that, like, one of these goals goes to pick at it, and it just gets, like, fried. There's, like, a little... and it is just dead.
Yeah, no, they're incredible at channeling that.
Huh.
Yeah, and Arden, you know,
Incredibly
once they get to a
efficient.
certain size... Yeah, once they get to a certain size, they could kill a person if you touched it.
Okay, I'm sorry. Give me a second. Yeah. So yeah, I think as that happens, Arden says like, yeah, it's incredible like how they're channeling that, and like Dre sees like the gull get fried. He's kind of like, yeah, we had a lot of them back where I'm from.
Yeah, and Dre, the ones that you did, because you picked them off so small, it's more like, once they shocked you, it was kind of like, you know, sticking your finger on the outside of an outlet. Like, it shocks you a bit, but it's not deadly. These things are many magnitudes larger than what you're used to, because nothing has been able to fuck with them up here.
So are they still getting energy?
I mean, Arden, with that roll, you know that they're getting it at a much lower rate. Definitely while they were above breathable atmosphere, they probably weren't getting any, but there's still trace amounts of aether, like, in the air you breathe, that they are channeling. You just know that when they're below the ocean level, they get a lot more, and they've probably stored a bunch while they're here to protect themselves while they're above aether line, so...
So it's not coming, it's coming from the air, it's not coming from a channeling source.
No.
Yeah, well, they're channeling it. They're living things.
Yeah,
stored
they
it
are.
in
Yeah,
them.
they're just incredibly efficient. And the fact that they're up here kind of speaks to how efficient they are at it.
Mm-hmm. You would also notice, now that you're much closer to, like, the ground, you see some of these just hulking-looking crustacean-type things. They don't really have claws. It's almost like just a dome that, when it lifts up, has, like, really large legs that were part of the side of the dome. Think like the heaviest version of a pill bug or a potato bug or whatever your region calls it that you could think of. But, you know, heavy duty. And they're just, like, grazing along. And you see several times they get to one of these large polyps and they just envelop it. And there's, like, arcs of electricity come off the side of them and get grounded as they... Arden would know, but you could also surmise it's eating them, and it just doesn't care that it's getting shocked. It is redirecting the channel to the ground.
All right.
It's only... Yeah.
I'm
I
just
do
looking
think that
to the
you'd
rest
have
of them
to-
and saying that.
This is,
Yeah.
this is wild. What is this place?
Welcome to the Violet Sea.
Roll credits.
Yeah, Ozturk just being a little more academic and less poetic is like, oh yeah, these are the creatures that live below the ocean line, usually very deep.
Huh.
At least some of them.
They survive all that time down
And,
there. And they come up and get this time in the sun. Yeah.
as Arden said, it's amazing that they can survive in such different conditions. I'm sure that there are many species that don't attach themselves to these islands, simply because they couldn't survive. And yeah, the purpose of the observation, not just to give flavor, was you do have to, like, L the first mate to give those buildings a slightly wider berth, as you are about to actually come very close to one that could have actually shocked the ship. There's some very, very large ones higher in the buildings that these larger, like, lumbering crustaceans can't get to. Hey, we got a raid.
Yeah, we sure did.
Sure did.
Thanks,
Drinking with
Critical
our
Drinking.
Thanks, loves.
Drinking.
A big one.
Good
Dan.
raid.
Hey, babes.
Welcome to the chat room.
Let's throw them a quick little shout out.
Welcome to the
Welcome
chat
to
room.
the chat room. I'm still being welcomed so aggressively. Yeah. So the practical upshot of this is, as you pass this city, you see a clearing that looks like it was originally meant to be some sort of, like, large park or maybe even, like, sport arena type thing. There's some very broken down buildings around it, but it's pretty bare, and it looks like grass there, and it doesn't have a lot of these polyps as a suitable place to stop for a bit, because you are running a little low on supplies. I mean, the Lady Rachel isn't really designed for super, super long engagements, and you didn't have a huge chance to refill completely. Since a long one, you're better at island hopping and taking things out that are island hopping.
It looks like brass, you say.
What looks like grass?
You said it
Grass.
looks like...
Grass.
Grass.
Grass,
God
Oliver.
damn it.
Not everything's
I
a
was
metal.
just-
Calm the fuck
Listen.
down.
Listen, I need new metals. It's been a while.
Jeez.
Yeah. Well, there's definitely buildings around as you land, and yeah, as you get close to the ground and you kind of tie off to some of these structures, the first people to get on the ground, the grass recedes, and you see it's actually other little sort of shell polyp things that have let out feelers as soon as there is sun, and then quickly escape back in when something gets close by.
Huh.
All the cute worms.
Everything about this place is wild. Yeah, Dre's like taking that in, but then immediately like looking up at the structure we're moored to and just like putting his hands on it. Like just
Careful, careful. Be careful
no
of everything that
polyps
you
this time.
touch. Oh, okay.
sorry, I never thought I'd seen
I know
this.
it's wonderful. There's just a lot of things that like to hide, and hide very well, and are very dangerous.
Fair. I'll try to keep my head on straight.
And as part of the roll previous, as you land Arden, you would notice that it's not really a tree line, but like sort of a coral line. You don't know what they did to prepare this ground so that the coral doesn't want to grow on it, but it looks like the like clay or dirt here was brought in from somewhere else and just doesn't support like plant life very well. It's a sports field and it was designed to keep that off, and you don't know what they mixed into it to do so. But the sort of tree/coral line around it, you see several smaller, almost leaner-looking crustacean creatures that have left. From the 16 roll, they're mostly still like an herbivore type of a thing. Think like a deer, and they seem to be able to move very quickly, despite the fact that they were designed for like deep aether, as they hide there amongst the branches. And you get the sense that they're actually moving slower than normal, which is the only way you even get a glimpse of them, that in the deep aether powered by it, they're probably lightning quick.
Wow.
And you also, I just say surmise that that's the reason there's not polyps on a lot of these buildings here, is that these things eat the very small ones and other like small plant life out there. And so the only thing that grows here is the stuff that can escape and hide from them in the dirt.
So cool.
Yeah. So what I'd be interested in is where you guys would look for other supplies. You can kind of get water on your own without looking for it. It just takes a long time, and the water always tastes a little bit like the air. But what's like your first task? And then we'll sort of like head out.
Good question. I think Dre will honestly turn to. I feel like Oliver's got a good head for numbers and brains and materials and things. He'll turn just like, you seem like you got a good head on you, Egghead. Why don't you go look around and see if you can see what we need and give me a good list, or we'll get someone a good list and just. I'll send out some scout parties, see what we can find.
I can take a look around. Warning, though, I care more about the metals than anything. So if you want somebody to look around for cultural stuff, I'm not your best choice.
Antoni offers is like, I can help him find whatever is food and edible around here, probably, if Quinn comes with me.
Why don't you take Arden over there with you too? They seem like they have a good handle for what's actually edible and not poisonous around here, and I'd rather not die tonight.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend
Fair
eating the
enough.
stuff that I find.
Going with Beanie. Either way.
Yeah, I think the four of you can sort of head out, and it's only as you get this expedition together and the ship lands that you make up camp that I think the scene we leave on is as you go exploring, you from the trees is a sort of rattling, just a subtle one that Arden you would see, and when you look in the space where it is, there is almost claw mark that at sort of that final part of that roll. As you look at it, the more herbivores, the bigger and the slower and faster ones, have very different, I guess, ends to their claws. They're more round and grippy and dig into whatever material they're on. It's almost like a pad that's grown on the outside of the shell. This one has claws.
Ooh.
That's not fun.
And I think that is...
We're not down there.
Oh,
I think...
I had one
Yeah?
other thing I wanted to do real quick, if you didn't mind, if it wasn't super duper important. It
Oh, sure.
actually works perfectly. It happens while everyone else goes off to do their thing. So yeah, I think it's like. So what time is it as we like land and settle in?
It could be earlier in the day, or it can be in the afternoon. It's depending on when you want to have like taken camp.
I'll say it's like later in the afternoon because like I don't want them to be out too long. Like have them back like by the time it gets like nice and dark. If you don't, there's it's that. 1 second. Cool. So yeah, I think it's as everyone's leaving, like literally as everyone's like kind of setting off. Dre looks without looking behind him. Daniil swings down and he kind of like whistles at her, and she kind of stops. He's kind of without looking just says, "Gather up the others. Something I want to talk about real quick." And she's very much aware of what he means by the others.
Yeah, okay.
And
I'll let you handle that scene then.
So that later in the eve, slightly, Dre is in the on Lady Rachel below decks on the lowest deck actually. It's a tightly packed quarter, the room opposite of the brig. which used to be his old quarters. It's been hollowed out, save for what was once a bunk bed that was far too packed for even 2 people to stay in. But as it is now, it's a mostly empty space with a small little crate on the middle. A lot of other members of the crew are gathered around. Not everyone specifically, in fact, only the members that, well, if I'm gonna be blunt, look like Dre. He has a map out. It's the map he was working on with Ozturk with all the locations of the different points marked out. He starts pointing at some of the smaller ones out of the rim and says, "We start off here. Gather out in the night when you can. Small parties only. Travel light, but pack enough to survive. When you reach them, infiltrate your way in, seem normal, talk to people. Just spread the word. Anyone that's interested, you get them back to me in contact with the ship here. That's all we're doing so far. Nothing else. Once we got enough people gathering up, and things seem like we're moving, we coordinate, we gather." He moves his finger to the middle of the map, right where those central mines are, and then we swarm. One of the crew members says, "Well, who do you mean, Captain? Who are we talking to when we get there?" He looks up. "Anyone that looks like us." And that's all I got.
It's also an excellent place to end. Sorry, I misunderstood what you said by we need a scene at the end real quick.
It's all good, boss. Don't worry about it.
So anyways, thanks you guys for joining us, especially thanks for the big raid there at the end.
Thanks for drinking.
We've been the Violet Sea. Yeah, it's been the actual play stream of this system I'm working on in this game that's getting a little heavy and a little weird, and I kind of like it that way. I'm gonna have my players give you their name, who they've been playing, and where we can see them next. We'll start with the pirates again. So yeah, Foxy, give us what you got.
Hey folks, it's Young Foxy, aka Big Foxy, also known as your favorite fox, Philly's finest. You can catch me on the Twitter sphere at Big Foxy, BIG_FOXXII. I dunk on right wingers, I slay fascists, and I have a great time doing it. I'm doing a lot of cool things recently up in the future, but I am not going to plug any of those things, and I will instead use the remainder of my outro time to give my dedication, my faith, and wish a steady aim and no hesitation to the soldiers fighting right now bravely in Ukraine. With that, I pass it on to Michelle.
This is good. Good idea.
Hello, it's me, Michelle. I played Quinn, our bodyguard come chef come medic with small child. I don't social media, so don't look for me on social media anywhere. Normally I'd be like, yes, a Blades will on Tuesday, except we have scheduling things, so I'm sorry. It's but what you should do, and I'm gonna shout this out, is I believe Janie Potts is doing a charity stream on March 1st. So this is why we are not having the stream, because you guys should all, instead of attending any kind of Blades will stream, go attend that charity stream.
Do it.
Do that.
Or go to jail. That's the rule. It's the law.
Know
what's the
that
charity
I'm
for?
going
Just,
to attend that.
That is a good question. I do not know. But
We'll
if
get
you
more
have
info
the
from Janie, and we'll post it on the Discord. So hang out there.
Yeah.
And then we'll get you more info
We'll
as soon as we
find
can.
it. Don't worry.
Definitely. Don't you worry.
Yep, we'll be posting in the Discord chat. So moving on to
Oh, it's me!
Oh,
Hey,
yes.
everybody.
It's
It's
you.
Heck, our
Dracula.
favorite.
I was just like,
Not
wait,
me.
Sorry,
wait,
sorry,
Bill's
everybody
not
else
here.
is
It's
back.
me, Sir Hecklet. You know, you can find me on all of the social medias at Sir Hecklet. I played Arden Clark, our ether biologist, who is about to become a complete nerd here. My God.
And then nerded
Yeah,
out.
I
Uh-huh.
don't really have anything to plug. You're not going to see me throughout this entire week. So, yeah, put that last push through Black History Month. Get ready for Women's History Month coming up.
Damn right.
And keep on keeping on, everybody. We're doing it. Yeah, moving on over to Lucian.
Hi, I'm Lucian. I play Dr. Oliver Evans, our marble slinging material scientist. And now, while normally I would say I used to stream, or I stream sometimes rhythm games, it's different. I play a lot of Destiny, and there's a new raid coming out on March 5th at 1 p.m. Eastern. So I'm going to be streaming that. It will probably take a full 24 hours. So expect at least a 16-hour stream from me that day.
Oh no.
God,
Because
what?
God.
that's just how we do around here.
What do you mean?
Be okay, please.
No.
That day one experience. And on that note, I'll pass it on over to Purple.
Take some breaks, eat some food.
Yeah, please.
Get a bunch of sleep beforehand. Yeah, I'm
Need
Purple
so much
Phil.
sleep and so much caffeine.
Yeah, so much caffeine. I'm Purple Phil. I played Maxwell Tuttle, our boat historian. Definitely just a boat historian. Don't worry about what else he does. Yep, just keeps tracks of where the boats go and who they are. Yep. Uh, but where you can see me is actually tomorrow over on TPK Roleplay. I will be hosting the second episode of the Iron GM, a little competition where we have two GMs compete against each other to make a one shot in an hour, and then we judge who's the best. And voting is very important in it. So if you come and show up as a chatter, you can tip the scales for who will win. Last time it came out as a tie, which basically meant if one person would have voted, would have switched it, could have switched it either way. So just a reminder for all that. I appreciate
A
anyone who
contest
comes
where your
out.
vote actually counts for sure.
It sure does. So yeah,
What
if you
he's
come out,
saying is-
I'd love to see it.
What he's saying is, if you don't show up, it's your fault.
Yep, it's your fault.
It's your fault your favorite DM lost. That's true.
But yeah, I think that's all I really got. So I'll pass it back to Tate then.
Yeah. And also, normally we have a fail prime here, and don't know if we have his social medias programmed into the bot, but he couldn't make it today. He'll be here around next time. It'll be great. I'm sure he'll have other things to do on this wandering continent that he wants to know. And yeah, my name's Tate Washburn. You can find me at kinda_writing on Twitter, where I do a lot of sarcasm and tabletop stuff and writing things. Sorry, I saw someone put trait. I'm like, nope, that's not it.
Fuck.
Trait.
Great.
My fingers.
I am trait. That could be a new tag.
I am trait.
Actually, what you should do, what you should actually do is follow this channel's Twitter at Neon Lights Our Play on Twitter, because that's where you get a bunch of announcements and stuff. We'll definitely also put on Twitter the cherry that I'm not sure what the stream is for. We're asking right now, and then follow us on our Discord, like we said, where we talk about lots of tabletop stuff and memes and politics and stuff like that. And it's real good. And it's also where we pull people for one shots, like for our Blades Will. And yeah, if you ever want new news on here, that's where to find it. And like Foxy said, hearts and minds towards the current conflict. And thank you guys for joining us. This has been real fun. We'll see you next time on the Violet Sea.
Stand by for a raid in just a few moments, and we will see y'all on the next one.
Next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.